Ready as I'll ever be. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this edition of the Nantucket Historic District Commission. It is 4:04. This meeting is being audio-video recorded. Anything you say or say will be displayed on the town's YouTube channel. Please act accordingly. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
It'll be members present.
Did you announce the board just for the record? I'm sorry.
Doing it right now.
Okay.
Members present, regular members plus Connie, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries unanimously. Boy, we're working like
I
lightning.
guess what I meant to say is, just for the minute, the minute taker saying who's here and who's not.
Yes, regular board, so, that's a good
Sorry.
idea. Angus, Val, myself, Ray, and Connie voted on that. And I'll do them as we go. Okay, HTC public comment, email. HTC-related comments and concerns can be sent to HDC public comment at nantucket-ma.gov. Comments are due by 8 a.m. the Monday prior to the meeting. Comments should be with respect to applications before us and topics within the HDC's purview. Thank you. Next up, consents.
I'm off.
Val's off.
I am too. We might need to do this in
Batches.
batches.
Okay, well,
Well,
let's
maybe
see.
not.
Let us see. Val's off, so we have Angus, myself, Connie, and Abby, are you here?
Not yet.
Well, that's a quorum.
Yeah.
So it'll be Angus, Connie, and myself. Do we have a motion?
Move to move consents.
On your motion,
Aye.
Connie,
Aye.
and I'm an aye. I guess we didn't really need to do a voice vote.
Didn't.
Consent with conditions. Ray, are you on this one?
I am. How about you, Val? Oh, Val's off.
Yeah, but I have a question
Yep.
for Angus. It's under consent with conditions with no condition.
Well, who the hell
19
wrote
Ahab.
that up?
Oh, that was a typo on my, or lack thereof, a typo on my part.
Do we know what the condition is?
I'd have to pull my email, I don't remember.
If it's what,
Hey ho, hey ho, hey ho. Holly?
Mr. Chair, yes, I do have it here, if I can get it real quick. I want to say it was an Exhibit A.
yeah, but I don't want, if it's what, it's changing a roof line, I'd rather have everyone review it. Because I
Okay.
didn't get my guy.
Okay, so we're gonna pull that.
Yeah.
So, guys, my last night as chair, let's
Your last
make
night
it
as chair?
worthwhile. Well, elections are next week.
Oh, you're right, it is your last.
That's right. So let's keep it all in, let's keep it contained a little bit. Let's see, we're on consent with conditions. Can we get a motion to take number 7?
Stephen?
Hold on one sec. Number 7 and number 8, 13 Wade off.
Okay. You, I looked down
Oh,
and I
but
see
you're on
Stephen
it.
Welch.
You're not recused on this?
I'm not.
Oh, but I'll just sit off. Simpler.
Okay, so, well, then we can move yours through.
Yep, and
All right.
Val can sit off.
All right, so Val, you're sitting off of 7. We've pulled 7,
Yep.
all right? I'm sorry, I'm getting up to speed quickly. We're not pulling 8. Stephen's recusing from 8 for obvious reasons. So our board is Angus. What?
No, not me.
Oh.
Connie, not me.
Not you. Well, do you have, oh, you have 2 recusals, I see, okay, so, all right. So, Angus, myself, Connie, that's it, right?
Yep.
No, Abby, okay, so can I have a motion on that portion of the consent with conditions?
Excuse me, Chairman.
Oh, boy, yes,
If you could just hold 3, I just had a slight comment on it.
what?
Number 3 on your agenda for consent with conditions.
88 Somerset.
Yeah, what about it?
I could pull or just briefly comment. The client, Marty McGowan, has planted a bunch of hollies, not pines. They're natives And he was just concerned about this concept of like not visible at the time of inspection because there might be some spots that are visible.
Are you just interested in the word pine versus holly?
Pine and not visible in perpetuity. He was concerned about it, and so I just happy to pull it or hold it for review, but he was just concerned about it, so maybe just hold it for.
Abby did that one, so I'm not going to opine on it. I think we got to hold that one too, folks.
Thank you.
All right, so just to be clear on this, and Stephen, by the way, is still recused, okay? We're pulling number 3, and number 7. And the board, once again, Angus, myself, Connie. Looking for a motion, if we have one.
I am making a motion to approve consents minus number 3 and 7.
Very good. Thank you, Angus. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Thank you. Now, how do we handle the going back and reviewing Val's thingy?
We can just pick it up now,
Do that now?
and then Tobias is, right, Tobias came
Oh,
second.
okay, that's a good idea. Yeah, sure.
Okay, so Val, you want to rep?
Okay.
We are going to be picking up 19 Ahab, is that it, Val? From the consent with conditions agenda. The board will be Angus, myself, Ray, Connie. Is Abby with us? No. Okay, so everyone's here. We don't have to do a roll call vote. When you're ready, Val.
Okay, it's relatively simple, adding a front porch. And presently where there is a very, very low shed roof, we'd like to turn that small portion into a gable to turn it into a bathroom.
What was the condition, Val?
Angus thought it should be a shed roof.
I see.
Okay. Angus?
Sorry. I spoke.
No,
So
sorry.
I didn't have any
Can we
issue,
have the, I'm sorry, can we get the
a picture?
Yeah, it would be
visuals up?
nice to have a picture.
So that folks at home don't have to watch the minutes being made?
That was pretty cool, though.
Yeah, it is.
That was
I saw all of your words become,
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
it's like being on
That was
CNN or
Ray, by the
something.
way.
Here we go.
Take 2, Val Oliver.
Okay, thank you. This is a little building out in the Ahab region, the Moby Dick world. Basically adding a front porch. Can you scroll up one,
Yeah.
Fiona? Right there, and when you look to the left and down below, you see the former existing drawing. It was a little low shed, and we want to just usurp that footprint and make it a bathroom. So I'm asking for a gable for headroom.
Okay. Anything else you want to say at this point?
No, that's it.
Okay. Angus?
So this was on my consent list, and I was fine with the porch, but this gable, just because this roof was, can we go back to the page before? Yeah, the whole page, yeah, perfect, thank you. So, just with all these eaves here, it seemed to be more appropriate to have a shed roof that was this height down here, lower that window, so there was another window there, kind of like that, but a shed that went from there up across here and would be there. It just felt like the eave was high and the gable coming off of that other steep shed. Yeah, it seemed like the shed would be a better option, but
Okay, thanks. Ray?
So, Angus, I appreciate that, and, it would result in a lower silhouette, but this is what I call an additive shed, which is like, normally a shed is like attached onto a piece, and it's not like projecting out beyond the plane of what it's a shed onto, if you know what I'm saying.
Totally.
So, my own view is that it seems pretty benign and inconsequential to me. So I'd be okay with it as drawn. Thank you.
Thanks, Ray. Connie?
I also, okay with it as drawn.
Okay. Now, I just have a question. What's up with the windows in the rear are a little lower? That top plate is shorter?
Ooh,
What's
then-
that?
I think that's a drawing error.
So your two windows flanking the proposed, I'm just curious,
Because those wall heights are very low in the existing house.
in the back versus the front?
Right.
Okay, that's what I thought. I
Yeah.
just checking, because it does look a little bit shorter.
I mean, I can
No,
lower it. Okay.
no, just looking for information. And then the bathroom window, regardless of the height of the other windows, but it's compounded by it, looks a little high.
Yeah, agree.
That's an inappropriate height.
It's a, pardon me, what?
It's at an appropriate height.
Well, I mean, that's your floor line, so I'm just trying to figure out,
I can lower it.
no, Val, I'm simply asking for information to understand what I'm looking at, so then I can comment in an informed manner. If there was a consensus that that was too tall, I would suggest then maybe move the top plate down a little bit, but I agree with Ray's comments. And in particular, the fact that the ridge is shorter, height-wise, it appears to be lower down than the prior existing bump-out shed on the right, so, I think it's okay. What would
Do
we
we have a
like to do?
motion? Oh,
Move to approve as submitted.
Okay, thank you, Angus. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries unanimously.
Thank you.
We are now on to,
Yours.
no, you got yours approved. Because he recused. Oh,
Tobias.
you're right.
What was the address? Somerset.
88 Somerset.
88 Somerset.
a
Oh,
little-
that was actually before Bales. For some reason, I was thinking it was 26. Okay, Tobias, you're up.
Yeah.
If you would kindly help staff through your presentation.
Lovely. So 88 Somerset, it's a cute little cottage that Marty saved somewhere, a little barn or garage. And he's turning into a little house for his daughter. And my only reason for calling it, I had kind of 2 points I wanted to make. One is that he was just concerned about this concept of invisible forever. He's a landscaper. He's screened a lot of the island for you. He's already planted a bunch of hollies since the photos we submitted, and so he was just concerned about that clause, and particularly to pines. He's because like pines are gonna die, hollies are the best. You gotta do hollies. And then the second thing I wanted to note
Holly is
was
the best.
exactly, yeah.
Sorry, I just wanted to be clear. We were.
Yeah. He's planted a bunch of hollies in between this already very currently screened structure. And so that was one thing I just wanted to mention. And then the second thing I wanted to mention was I've been working with the fire department over the last year, reviewing these projects. And the fire department would like a 3-foot access for safety, which I think is very reasonable, down one side of the building.
Move it up.
And so I would just request we drop 3 panels to accommodate that for safety. Thank you.
Given that Abby is not here and she did the consentable review, I suggest we do a view. Because she may have done a view and she knows something we don't, is the only thing I can, just to make sure we cover our bases, that's all. I mean, I'm familiar with the area. I haven't looked at it for a solar on this particular property, but I think that would be fair to her since she's not here to comment. Any concerns with that?
No.
Okay,
Yeah,
so.
that's fine.
Again, same board, motion for review.
Pick it up in 2 weeks?
Yeah,
2 weeks? Why don't we do it? Can we just push it on?
For next week?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking for the view.
I'm on a 7-month timeline to get all residents done, assuming the feds cut the,
7 months, is that when the fund
that's
runs
it.
out?
So you guys are, well, that's part of
Oh,
it, you know?
thanks.
But you guys can be helpful, and moving along the week would be very helpful, thank you.
Send the check to the HDC. Okay, so that'll go on for next week. Is that a motion for review and to bring it on
motion.
next week? Yeah. On Ray's motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries unanimously. Okay, great. Thank you, Tobias.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
I move to accept the sign committee's recommendations on the 4 sign applications.
I appreciate your proactive nature. On Ray's motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries unanimously. Commissioner Q&A with Preservation Planner. Does anyone have questions for Holly? Abby will be here at 4:45. Questions for Holly on the staff comments?
And Mr. Chair, just for the benefit of the board, I am able to stay for 5 meter.
5 meter, when is that one? 5 meter, okay, just so I have an idea. Okay, great. Okay, we're gonna roll up to 3 Miles Court.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah.
I've reached out to him several times. You do have the option to deny due to lack of response.
I'm good with just opening it up, and if we don't like it, we'll tell him what the condition is. If he doesn't like it, he can.
That's
put
a fine
another-
idea.
Another application in.
Although somebody has their hand raised.
Oh, look how that
that
works.
What?
Is something, all of a sudden, somebody has their
That
hand
doesn't
up?
Oh,
match
oh.
the application, but
We're
give it
looking
a
for
go.
anyone who's here to speak on 3 Miles Court. Please raise your hand.
That's
You can
crazy.
unmute. I've asked you to unmute Samara. Oh. You can unmute.
Yeah, sorry, it was an accident.
What did he say?
Yeah, excellent.
Oh,
Okay.
It's not the representative we've been waiting for.
Okay, so 3 Miles Court, can we pull up 3 Miles Court, please? Let's. Oh, that's right, it was too much. Yeah, no, now I remember it. Sorry, I'm not in tip-top shape today. So I think what we want to do is we'll extend it to next week. We'll do a view and make sure that the scary solar that we saw is as scary as it looked. And what I mean by that is inappropriate to the character and setting of this National Historic Landmark. And we'll pick it up next week, and we can dispense with it and go from there, okay? So now we're gonna move on to new business of.
do you need a motion on that?
I don't,
Well,
don't think
it's just, it's implied that we will view
we'll
it.
do a view,
Okay.
yeah. Won't hurt to do a motion. All in favor of Ray's motion, say aye.
Aye,
Any opposed? Carries unanimously.
okay.
Cross our Ts and dot our Is. We're on to new business of 4/1/25, 45 Surfside, as-built fence.
And I spoke to her on Wednesday, and she said she'd be here. It's an as-built fence, if you wanted to.
You know what's funny? I ran into her and I missed last meeting and I said, were you heard? And she goes, oh yeah. And I said, how'd it go? And she goes, I was approved. And I said, oh, okay.
Oh,
So, I don't know.
boy, it's that easy, huh?
Yeah, all right. Well, anyway,
All
I guess
right,
we'll
well,
go back to it.
She'll get a chance. So she's coming in this evening, you think?
I told her she was number 2 on the agenda.
Okay,
Would
well,
be here at
We'll
4.
see.
all right,
or
well,
to
we'll
zoom in.
pass over her for now. I don't want to hold that open all night so people come at their convenience. It's bad form. 49 Meadow, we'll give her until 5 PM.
49 Meadowview is going to hold.
And just for people's future reference, we're always going to change that. It's never just going to be a half an hour. It's going to, sometimes we will hold it for 10 minutes.
Ooh,
Or 3
Okay,
hours.
keep people on their toes.
that's right. 49 Meadowview, new gate. Nate,
They want to hold.
they want to hold, I'm sorry, I missed that.
Oh, hold.
I was
Okay.
partially listening. 68 Shakamo,
That's Matt McEachern.
I think Matt emailed me on that and I didn't
Meaning,
get to it. He had a, I don't remember.
I
Was,
know,
did
I
you,
know.
Holly, did you send an email on that or did Matt? Okay, yeah, Matt, sorry, I just been tied up.
He's on?
Oh, yeah, there he is.
Matt, we have virtual Matt today. Matt, good evening, 68 Shakamo.
She,
Unmute. Okay, can you hear me now?
yep,
Yes.
Okay, good evening, and thank you. So, yeah, this is an application for a move demo. It's an existing garage. It does have finished space in the second floor, but it's a room and a bathroom, and there was a bed in there at one point, but it was never a dwelling. So I just wanted to clarify that.
there's clearly no historical value to this, and it's a move demo, so if somebody wants to take it, they can.
Yeah, Joe's not here, so we won't
Oh,
have him.
you know, now, Matt raised an interesting point, which is it's not a dwelling, so therefore it is not legally required to
Yeah.
be advertised, but we could put in as a stipulation that it be advertised.
Be made into a dwelling.
Yeah, but
Okay.
I mean, the way the bylaw is written is if it's a dwelling, it needs to be advertised. But can't we roll that into the motion that would be advertised?
Yeah, it used to be that, and now it's kind of confusing. But
Oh.
yes, primarily it's read and interpreted as a dwelling, so we can make that a motion.
Okay,
Would you
all
like
right.
to make
I'd
that?
be happy.
If I
All right.
could, the only
Oh,
thing
yeah.
if I could just add, because it obviously if it's has to be advertised, it's a 6-month advertising period,
Well,
and where it's not a dwelling.
Matt,
right, so, sorry,
go ahead, Rick. Finish your thought.
that's for a dwelling, correct?
Yes, that's what I was.
Yeah, and this is not a dwelling, so it doesn't need to be 6 months, so I'd say advertise it for a month.
We could set it.
Happy to do
Yeah.
that.
It's
You know,
30 days.
that's the way we used to do it.
Advertise it for 30 days. If nobody comes forward, then it's fine.
I only mention parenthetically that, you know, in cases like this, that owner has an incentive for somebody to take it off because he doesn't have to pay the dump fees. So, you know, it's not like he would prefer to demolish it. So my motion is going to be to approve a move-off demo with a stipulation that it be advertised for 30 days. How's that
Ray's
sound?
motion, same as the prior board. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries unanimously. Thanks, Ray. That was great.
Thank you very much.
And advertise in the current now.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah, look at that. Freedom.
Per town meeting.
Freedom. Okay, 121 Walwinet Road, repair, replace roof walk, access stair. Robbie, good evening.
Yeah, here. Hi.
When you're ready.
Okay, if I could have some slides, please, or something, perhaps. Be easier. Okay, so this is a little cottage, Walwinet Road, past the Walwinet House. Up on the right-hand side, it borders the ocean on the eastern side. I've forgotten exactly when it was built, but I'm gonna guess 60s, maybe early 70s. And it has this funky roof access in the back that's evident as far as I look back to the 1999 aerial photographs. So I assume it's been there since, I guess when they put the roof walk on. I don't know when that was. I know that the stairs have been rebuilt approximately 20 years ago or so. The roof walk has been rebuilt at least once. So if, could you scroll to perhaps the better photographs? We can see the condition of this, one more, please. Yeah, that's not a bad one. So it's very, the goal is here to get some more usable space on that deck. And the thing is very precarious and not safe. You can see that the railings have a lot of space between them. It's an awkward slope, all sorts of things. Besides, it's deteriorated in the past 20 years or so. So our proposal is essentially the same concept. because we can't access the roof walk from inside. So what we would like to do is clean up this condition, make it safe. It's not visible from the road. It's not visible from the beach because of the dunes in the way. So if we could now scroll to look at the drawings, you'll see my proposal. Yeah, that's a good one.
All right,
That's a
Robbie,
good one.
we're gonna go to Connie and see what her concern was.
Okay.
Connie, what was your concern? Or did you have a question?
No, safety,
Safety?
yeah. I do appreciate that the new roof walk looks much better. It's just, having the stairs on the roof, I thought it was consentable, but then I just wanted to verify that
Okay.
this is appropriate.
Okay. Building code will get involved in the safety side of it, just for what general awareness. It's not an egress, there are different standards than a typical stair. But it does look to be, and I'll just comment as I'm talking, improvement in a variety of ways, not least of which children hanging through those railings on a roof, which would be a fun place to play, I might add. Okay, and then otherwise you're okay with it? Okay, does anyone have a concern?
I do, actually. Sorry to be a party pooper, but, look, this house is like out in Wauwinet. It's all natural trim, and the wire cable rail thing is just such an incongruous detail. I would love to see just more horizontal boards, honestly, but, that's me.
I'm perfectly fine with that. I thought that the wire would be more transparent than filling more in with a stockade kind of a
Guys,
board.
through the chair for the minutes, so that was Robbie and Ray's gonna
Oh,
respond.
sorry.
I think the reality, Robbie, is that the wire, which is stainless steel, which is gonna be really shiny, is going to like shine out. So I'd rather see it wood natural to weather. There we go.
Okay, Angus?
My concern was looking on the drawing, and the representation of the wire looked really busy on it, but then once I realized it was wire and not boards, it made me feel like the simple railing of basically just a railing, a handrail, and the treads, I agree with Robbie on, I believe it's going to be less visible and highlight the roof more than the stairway. So I don't have an issue with it as presented.
Al?
I could go either direction.
Either direction. I'm gonna go horizontal or at least parallel with the railing. Robbie, I think a gray, not a stainless, so they've got one that's, I'm not sure if it's a galvanized, you know which one I'm talking about?
Different type of wire,
The
you mean?
wire rail.
I don't know. I've
'Cause
only
the
ever seen the
never
stainless.
Tends to dull out.
It's not supposed to.
I know.
That's why it's stainless.
That's why it's no good. Brushed. Get the brushed finish, number one. No one else said that, so just saying. Number two, let's put a parallel horizontal board in the middle between the step and the railing, mimicking what was there, because you're not gonna see anything but a railing going up there. And it will otherwise, if you have the stainless, depending on the lighting, if you bifurcate that space with a board, it's going to look dramatically like it did.
Yeah.
And
Not
that,
suggesting it has to be a board on the vertical
no,
lengthwise, it could be another 2x4 in between. Just something to give that concept of there's a spacer in there.
and then infill with a wire.
I think so. What do you think about that?
I think it's an
Good.
interesting suggestion.
Okay, so why don't we get a motion to approve at the
Yeah.
applicant's option?
I'll do the motion. So, my motion would be to keep the mid-rail, which I think is there, right? In the existing, you do have a mid-rail. So the motion would be to maintain the mid-rail and infill the gap space with the wire.
Can I just get for point of clarification?
Yeah, sure.
Maintain a mid-rail, just so he knows he can take that material and put in new stuff if they're rebuilding?
Oh, yeah. I thought the whole thing was new.
The whole thing is new.
Yeah, just because maintain makes it sound like we're gonna kind of,
Sounds like we're gonna maintain.
yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna, you're gonna have a, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Just because we're not doing the inspection.
Got
so,
it. Yeah.
Just to be clear. Okay, so it will have a mid-rail and then infill with the wire.
Very good.
Is that an Exhibit A?
Val's raised Exhibit A motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Thanks.
you. You're good with an Exhibit A on that?
Yeah,
You want some water?
good. I might
Coconut
need to
go
duck
down.
out for a second. Actually, I
Let's
can
see,
duck out now.
52 Pleasant Street, we're getting a lot of reverb.
Yeah, maybe it's that one.
Yeah, this has an existing board, myself, Val, Angus, Connie, Carrie is not here, alternates not here. So you've got a 4-person board. Are you okay to proceed with that?
Yes,
Greg? It is Greg.
Jake.
Jake?
Yeah, Greg's he's the general manager.
These little cues that I get are not helpful then.
I was on the Zoom last week, so I know.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. So
Okay.
and just you guys wanted to see our Muntins,
Yes,
correct?
now I
All
remember.
right, so first thing, Renewal by Anderson and Anderson Corp. are in the same factory in Minnesota. So our Muntins, everything about our glass packs are the same as a 400 series. The difference is the frame of our windows, rather than being a vinyl clad, is a composite. So the frame is proprietary to Renewal by Anderson. That's the only thing different, but I don't mind bringing this up for you guys.
No, that's fine.
This is just a stack.
Jake, the concern that we have, I'm just gonna jump in while we're talking about this, to identify a potential issue, is that the Anderson windows tend to have a uniframe, as opposed to a sill, jam extensions that are cased, a head extension that's cased, and as a result of that, you have a differentiation between this sill portion and the sides in the head. The Andersons that we're familiar with have a uniframe, and that frame goes all the way around like a band, like a picture frame.
Yeah.
It's very much not an historical detail. It draws your eye to it. You don't actually know what is different, but you know something is different. And I think in a non-scientific test, it's been proven to be not acceptable as quote-unquote historic. So I think I actually brought that up last week, that we were concerned about the frame. We wanted to see the Muntins, but we're concerned about the frame having that. If the renewals are if you're putting in windows that have that frame, but I think you said that are you inserting them into the existing casings?
No, we're coming back to the studs. We can do inserts on simple windows like double knobs.
Okay.
Especially the original that have a 14-degree slope still. We can insert and keep the existing frame. We don't bother the interior and exterior trim. But a window like this, a case of windows, anything bigger that there's wrought, we're gonna bring everything back to the studs.
Okay, so
All the interior still, exterior will all be replaced.
So that brings us back to the concern that we have in general with these style windows, is that they have the uniframe.
Oh, sure, yeah, I'm sorry. Do you
Oh,
want to see-
yeah, please, pass that around, we'd
We
like
can
to
pass
see
that.
that.
So that would be your interior, yeah, I apologize, it's right bounced around my bag. So it's existing there now is Anderson.
Oh, it is?
It is, correct, yeah, that's, and I believe it's from 87, if I remember reading the window badge. So existing is a 4-panel, 400 casement, Anderson window. And I spoke with David, Mr. and Mrs. Dick, and first thing their question was, the window is failing, but they wanted to bring more light into their kitchen. That's the only window that comes into their kitchen. And existing, it's a 72-inch opening. That's why I proposed a 3-panel, which would give them 25 inches of light for each panel rather than about 18 inches of light for each panel. And that's a sash to a glider. So
Yeah.
I pulled it out of a sample window. It's a dark bronze color.
Okay, so I think we got the information we need. Can we go back to the locust, please?
It's in the OHD.
Yeah, I was just trying to get a beat on. Okay.
Oh, yeah. But we won't
Right
care
there.
about the.
Okay,
intent.
great. We have an existing board. Who'd like to go? Angus, Val, Connie.
Stephen, we had no concerns.
Oh, thanks, Mickey. Oh, did anyone have questions for Holly? I'm sorry, Holly, I'm not used to having you here.
Mr. Chair, I just wanted to mention that this is a circa 1930 structure within the OHD. The date was not included on the application, but just wanted to mention it for the record. And I didn't have any concerns because this is a contemporary window being replaced by a contemporary window. Thank you.
And it's the single window set?
I'm sorry?
It's the single window set. You're not replacing all the windows?
No, just the four,
Okay.
yeah, that's a 4 casement.
Yeah.
Yep, so that whole
One ganged
is
unit,
coming out, correct.
one big happy casement.
Well, it's
Okay.
not happy anymore, but yes, it was
It
happy
will,
at
it
some
will
point.
be. Okay, any, Val?
I feel the same way. I'm okay with this.
Okay, Connie,
No
Ba-
concerns.
Angus?
No concerns.
Look at that. Great
Hey.
trip over.
Thank you.
Stop
And-
down,
and-
get yourself some dinner before the boat.
Yes,
So-
I'm flying, so Crosswinds has been my spot coming over here. I gotta find somewhere else to go eat.
Nice.
And thank you guys, and this is our first project in what I'm hearing is old historic, correct? Like that
Yeah.
area?
Yeah.
So moving forward, everything I would be selling would have full divided light.
Well, just keep in mind the comment we made earlier is the frame.
Everything would be full tear.
This is a more contemporary building and a limited use. We're gonna get to a vote on the motion in a moment. Actually, let's dispense with that now. Angus, was that your motion?
I make a motion to approve as submitted with adding the 1930 date to the COA.
Thank you, good detail. All in favor, say aye.
I,
Opposed? Please keep in mind, Jake, that this is kind of a one-off because of one, the structure, the window it's replacing, and it's a limited use replacement. In the old historic district, Anderson windows, because of the frame detail that we talked about, the uniframe, are typically never approved.
Okay,
Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, it is.
so double hung stuff like that, just general.
Anything.
Okay,
yeah.
that's good to
I
know.
mean, these one-off type things maybe, but just so you're aware, I don't want you to ramp up your sales
Right.
force when it's, and then come over here and be like, wait a minute, what happened?
So, just so I'm aware and I can kind of inform my company, anything in old historic or Sconset as well, am I saying that properly?
Yeah, within the OHD or the SOHD, unless you guys can come up with a solution where you reset the bottom portion of the uniframe so that a sill can be added to it, so it looks like a regular window.
You mean like a sill nose, a historic sill nose?
But we can chat about this.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
we got,
Yep,
yeah, right now, you don't have it, you have a band, and there's no way to cover that band. So you need to recess that, and that band can go across it.
okay. Yeah, in general, we do
Yeah.
historic sill noses.
Okay.
Perfect.
Thanks.
Grab
Yes, we'll let you take that back with
Nice
you.
meeting you, and I hope to see you soon. when it's,
Thank you.
All right, we're on to 10 Straight Wharf. Linda?
Linda stepped out.
All right, so we're gonna give her until 4:45 on this one. And
Oh.
we did say we were gonna mix it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll give her, when she comes back in. We'll go on to 111 Old South.
Hey, can I interject on
Please.
111 Olds? This is the one I put on consent today, right?
There's 2, Ray.
Oh, there's 2. Okay, never mind. Sorry. But one went on consent?
Correct, yes,
Okay.
it was approved.
Never mind.
Thank you for that approval.
Okay, Tobias, you're up.
111B, this is the new upstate door facility. It's
Oh,
actually
yeah.
a beautiful building. Has a lovely cupola and all those nice features. This is the corner of Airport Road and Old South Road. And we're looking for an approval to do solar on it. It's a commercial building. There is currently a level of screening up on the building. The solar is not on the front of the building, it's on the two sides. We've tried to keep things pretty uniform while also working with the fire department to make sure there are accesses up the front of the building. Black roof, architectural shingle.
Let's see, so this is gonna be the sitting members, same board as the last one. And who would like to begin?
I can.
Right.
It's going to be visible. I mean, there's this photo here. Although, the thing that's a bit of a deception is we're not actually looking at the roof. We're looking at the roof substrate, the waterproofing. So if it's indeed going to be black, maybe there will be less impact, but you're going to see it right over this white truck heading down Old South Road. And there seems to be no lack of solar. I mean, this thing is loaded with solar panels.
Gonna power the island. Can we go back to the roof, please, the roof plan, or the elevation, whichever one it is. West, east. Okay, thank you. I have a question before we proceed. Tobias, these are not intended to be actual spaces between the panels? This is gonna be a uniform
The
field?
panels touch each other. There is on the front of the building, there is 3-foot access. And then the only thing I would note is an amazing thing happened. We submitted this, and then the plans for the actual building moved the cupola back like 10 feet or so. It's still there, but we'd have to resubmit, so just the cupola moved.
Okay, it's gonna work as proposed.
It's gonna work as proposed.
Awesome, okay. Let's see, Vale.
I think I'm okay with this, given a black roof and the context. As much as I hate to say that, it's near the airport.
Well, we can always do it as a test case on
Yeah.
on a commercial, non-industrial building.
And I know it's just the drawings, but looking down on the bird's eye view, are you leaving 3 feet on each side of the dormer?
The one dormer on the back,
No. On the two dormers on either side. If you look at the bird's eye view, go down one, please.
on the back side of the dormer, there will
No.
definitely,
Is there a plan, is there a,
go up a little bit.
go on.
Keep going.
We need to have a computer at the stand.
One more.
Just go up one more.
Yeah.
Yeah, right there.
Oh, I
Where,
see.
yeah, so is that more realistic than what's showing on the
Good
3D, which shows it almost edge to edge? And if
It-
that's the case, couldn't the 3 feet next to the dormer count as the 3 feet rather than?
Yeah, so I think it's just, the idea would be for us to fill up those dormers, but then have a 3-foot space along the back of the building for access.
Which you do because of the setback.
Well, you have it along the ridge.
Yeah, we have it all on the ridge. We
Yeah,
need, it's a big building. We want to have access along the back as well.
That's 3 feet.
So do you see what I'm saying?
I think I see what you're saying.
Yeah, Tobias, this is what we're saying. There's access here to get up, there's access here to get in.
You just want to make sure those dormers are
Just fill
full.
that dormer.
Yeah. Nope.
Because then look, Steve,
Yeah, I'm with you. Because the
Yeah.
dormer widths
Yeah, I
are
just think
different
it's how
in the
it's
drawings.
drawn.
Okay, so you're good with that? Fire department, good to go? Excellent, okay. I think unless anyone has a concern, we're fishing for a motion to move along.
Motion to approve as submitted with the caveat that the dormer is filled with, I'd say, 6 panels instead of 4, just so that it fills the space uniformly.
Okay.
That's
so,
my motion.
Let's see, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, there's none opposed, that carries. That was an Exhibit A, and Angus is gonna mark that up, correct?
And just for the record, Steve, on a general note, we've been submitting, as many applications to the fire department ahead of time to make sure we're getting those comments before they come to you.
But, I mean, I just want to be clear, at some point, we're going to send it back to them because otherwise we're the bad guys.
No one is the bad guys.
So we're not going to be the bad guys.
No one's the bad guys. We're all in this same boat together on the same island.
Well, we're a character in setting their life safety. There's a little bit of a difference, but we'll work it out, I'm sure.
And I'm the metal in between.
Yes.
Thank you.
The monkey in the middle.
The monkey in the middle. Okay, Tobias, we think much more highly of you than that.
They're pretty nice, yeah.
14 Dukes Road, Hardscape. Is there someone here who can deal with this? Because this is kind of this little tinny noise thing. Does that bother you or no?
It's, one of the mics is up too high.
Mr. Chair, I texted Kevin from
Okay.
NCTV, so hopefully he'll return.
Okay, I'm just curious. I don't know if it's mine.
It's all of them.
Yeah, it's
Is that any better?
What's happening is they're too loud. so
Hello?
They're transmitting to each other.
Did that reverberate? Yeah.
Is that one on next to you, Abby?
No.
Good evening.
Hi.
Welcome to the show. You are,
John Archer,
hi, John, and you are representing,
myself,
and what street?
on Dukes Road,
14 Dukes.
14 Dukes,
There you go. Didn't see it there.
on the south side.
Why don't you go ahead and kindly direct staff through your presentation?
Okay. So we have a deer problem on the island, and I'm a gardener. And I have fenced over the years, or added to fence over the years to keep deer out. And the only way they can get in right now is my driveway. And so I'm proposing to build a gate, and it'll be 8 feet high, or it's not worth building. And it'll have, I don't remember, I was initially thinking I would do this with pressure treated, but then I found some more money, so I'm gonna do it with cedar. The width of the gate needs to be, I believe,
Can we
15
go to
feet.
the-
Oh, I'm sorry. What do you need?
Can we, you've got images of what you're proposing?
Right there.
That's the image. I mean,
Okay, that's good enough.
That's
Yeah.
totally not to scale, by the way.
You're right, it is. It's very misleading. It's like each of those swing gates are 8 feet tall, and they're gonna be like 8 feet wide. So there's, doesn't have quite the elegance of the more rectilinear, horizontally weighted, but.
I was gonna go back to basic shapes like
Yeah.
squares and rectangles.
It's gonna be like a square,
Yeah, okay, let's, as long as we're clear.
yeah.
Okay,
Can I start into
Ray.
this? So there are definitely other ways of handling this. I think I had this as a consent review. Yeah, I did. Generally, in a case like this, what we're doing is the bottom half of your, you label it as 7, but you're saying 8. Call it 8. The bottom half of that is your wood. I'm saving you money, by the way. The bottom half is wood, and then at the top you have wire that just goes between posts up to the extended verticals on the gates themselves. I've done that before.
I've seen it.
okay.
And in fact, Walpole recommended it because that's what they do. But I've also seen the video of the deer going through those wires. And let me tell you, I have so much money in my
Depends on
garden.
how close together you put the wires.
Yeah. John, we're gonna direct, it's John, right?
Yep.
We're gonna direct comments through the chair and not be argumentative.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay, just being clear. Val?
A basic gate is fine, I think. I'm looking at the photos. Sorry, Val Oliver. The photos that you have provided us, and the little flags are where you're talking about the gate being?
Yeah, so if you look at that picture, you're standing in the middle of the road. The split rail on viewer's right is our property line. The grass is about 8 feet wide at that point, and I would be moving the gate over 2 feet so that there was a 6-foot green strip, and a 16-foot opening leaves several feet on the other side so that one of the gates.
Fiona, can you please go to the site? Sorry, John.
Yeah.
Okay. John, where on this are you proposing, the red line?
The red line is about where the gate would be, and I just did this as a quick like ... but that gate would be in a plane that is about 10 feet from the public right-of-way.
Okay, and then the other question, sorry,
I didn't
Bill.
finish. Oh,
Yeah,
go ahead.
Just what, because, I want you to have an opportunity to speak on it. What about the fence?
I'm sorry, what about it? The split rail is 8 feet high with wire up to 2 sections away from that.
And that's.
That would be
that's
extended forward.
Proposed?
What's that?
That's proposed?
I guess so, yeah.
Well,
That
that
doesn't
means
look
it's
8
there.
feet to me.
I see.
John, I'm having difficulty with this presentation. We're here to review what's proposed on the property. If there's something that's on the property that wasn't approved, then you need to be forthright about that so that we can address the matters at hand and move forward.
Okay.
So with that in mind, please respond whether where the existing fence is, which I presume is what's going on. So we all know that, and then we can have a well-rounded discussion. Thank
Okay,
you.
I'm sorry, so if you look at the diagram, there's little X's showing adjacent to the road, fence to be replaced, and between myself and my neighbor, fence to be built.
Okay, and then what is going to contain the rest of the yard so that the deer can't just walk around to the left or to the right of the blue dots?
It's got fence and privet all the way around.
Okay, I'm gonna suggest after Val's comments that we have a view of
All right,
this.
that's what I was gonna say, yeah.
Because it seems like there's more to this than
Sounds
meets the idea.
And may I just
Yes,
ask a
please, yeah.
question? If the split rail is gonna be 8 feet, how many rails will there be? Oops, that is not a very typical application.
There would be 4 rails as drawn, although the drawing is out of proportion. So there'd be a top rail, 2 mid rails, and a bottom rail.
So we're gonna have a view, we're gonna need a drawing of the gate to scale, a drawing of the fence to scale. It doesn't have to be, a work of art, but it needs to be accurately rendered.
Okay.
And that'll be prior to the next time we pick it up, subject to whatever submission deadlines are, which you can touch base in the office on. Okay? And we also need to have if there isn't an approval on file for the existing fence, we need to have that mapped out on the site plan why don't we use green? How's that?
Okay.
Okay? Thank you, John. Val, is that your motion?
Sure. A motion to hold for,
View information, that information.
yeah, that's
Okay.
my,
All in favor, say aye.
aye.
Same board as prior. Good evening, Abby, welcome.
Thank you.
Just
Hi,
one
Abby.
quick question. So I should go to the office and...
Well, they're here, so
Yeah, you can touch base with me tomorrow in the
Okay.
office.
Thank
Kathy, Kathy Flynn, thanks.
okay. Linda? 10 Straight Wharf.
Tim is on his way out, stuck in traffic downtown.
Are you asking to hold this for another 5 minutes?
Yeah, if you want to move, I'll wait till he gets here.
Okay.
Okay.
Let it never be said that we denied an applicant the opportunity to speak. 1 North Swift Rock Road, Matt.
Yep, I'm here, Mr. Chair.
Matt, your board is the regular members, Angus, Abby, Val, myself, and Ray.
Okay. Thank you. Is it possible to share my screen?
Please.
I'm gonna turn my camera on.
Let's just identify Lisa. Is she here to speak on this?
Lisa Berger's in a butter, yes, for
Okay,
this
so Lisa,
application.
we will proceed. Matt's got 2 minutes. You'll have a minute. Other butters, non-repetitive, 30 seconds.
Okay, I'll start with the site plan. So the board approved this dwelling probably about 7 or 8 months ago. And since then, the clients kind of looked at the design and we've talked about the site and have had a chance to live there. And so they wanted to change some of the
deck spaces from the south to the north, and is eventually the simplest way to describe the revisions. We're also proposing to shift the house slightly, and you can see that on the site plan. So I don't know if everyone can see my screen. You can see how it's shifting. So the dashed line shows where it was previously approved, and this is where we're proposing to shift it.
Okay.
As far as the revisions are concerned, I would say that the house, for the most part, looks similar, with the exception of some of these revisions to the deck spaces. So starting with the west elevation, which this is the facade of the structure. And again, this structure is set back maybe like 300 to 400 feet from the road, so it's pretty far back. But the main body of the structure doesn't change. You can see the comparative reduced elevation. It's listed as the previously approved west elevation. So the main massing doesn't change dramatically. You can see in the distance the rear deck. That's one of those decks, covered porches that we're flipping from the south to the north. We're also adding a railing there on the right side of the west elevation. Shifting to the north elevation, you can see that this is the one-story covered porch that was previously on the south, is now on the north. We're also proposing to move the pergola, which was on the south as well. So on the south elevation, obviously we're omitting the pergola and the covered porch. So it's basically we're taking those two elements and putting them on the north side of the property. Can you guys hear that?
That's you.
A little bit.
Is that me? It's not me.
That's your time.
All right.
Go ahead, wrap up, Matt.
So yeah, just some fenestration changes. And I think the drawings are fairly self-explanatory. So with that, look forward to comments from the board, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. Let's see. So Butters, Lisa, I think
Yes,
had her
1
hand
minute.
up first.
Lisa, you can go ahead and unmute.
This little shroud is helpful.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
It's historic.
Good evening.
Good evening.
This is Lisa Berger. I'm in a butter on the Eel Point side. Obviously, as an abutter, we're not thrilled with having a new 4,200 plus square foot house closer to the property line, removing more vegetation and making it more visible to the neighbors as well as those on Eel Point Road. But our biggest concern with this application is that it is inconsistent with what has been presented in the past, both to the HDC and to the planning board. In order to put this suggested placement into perspective, it is important to see all of the proposed structures in context to one another. This application, which you're reviewing today, was recently sent to abutters, shows only 3 buildings: the existing house, a garage, and the new dwelling which they're asking you to allow them to move. The total square footage is 4,158 square feet of ground cover. In January, when One North Swift was last heard by you guys, you approved a pool house and a guest house and an art studio. These structures are not even on this application. At that meeting, the applicant included a chart listing phase 1 and phase 2 for this property that combined it with 5 total buildings. That ground coverage was 5,061 square feet. I understand that the ground cover for this property is 4,567 square feet. I know that's not your purview, but to keep in mind the size of these buildings in. Another inconsistency is in January of 25, the applicant submitted and received an approval from the planning board for a secondary dwelling. On that application, the existing building was listed as the primary dwelling, and the pool and guest house were listed as the secondary dwelling. They did not list this larger dwelling at all, or the art studio. When I asked Megan Trudell from the planning board how an applicant.
Lisa, I'm sorry. You're really kind of going off. We're here to discuss the architectural elements. I understand you want to talk about the overall massing, but the level of detail that you're getting into isn't germane.
Can I finish?
You can, but you have a total of a minute. We'll give you.
I know, and I'm almost done, but let me finish my
Okay.
minute. I think, I've sat for a long time waiting for this. Last week, Matt didn't even show up. I think I have the right to have
Okay,
another
Lisa,
20
please
seconds.
finish. Please
It wasn't
finish,
heard.
or we will stop having you talk.
Mr. Chair, it wasn't heard.
Please
Can I-
finish.
Wasn't, I'm
Can I
sorry,
have
but
a
I don't like
chance-
the character
Lisa,
dispersion.
please,
This
Matt,
application wasn't heard.
cut both of them off, please. I'm not going to entertain this type of discussion. It's not relevant to our process. and
Let
it's
me
not-
just finish my last paragraph, please.
Would you please zip it? Thank you. Okay. All right, we're going to have a little discussion, and then we may go back to let Lisa finish up. Who would like to begin?
I can.
Go ahead, Ray.
I don't see anything in these revisions, the movement of the house in terms of the size of the lot is, fairly inconsequential, and the distance from Swift Rock Road. That's the movement of the house. For the most part, what Matt is doing is he's taking elements that were already approved on one side of the house and he's moving them to the other side of the house. So I don't think that any of those revisions are, have made it, turned it from approvable to not approvable. So I'm okay with all of these revisions. Thank you. Oh, Stephen's gone. Let's see. Who else is on this?
I'm here.
Oh,
Okay. Dale?
Well, I actually went out there today to try and see what I could see.
and
And I couldn't even see this house. There's a little house that sits in the middle, tiny little house in this open space. Where is that in comparison to where this is?
it probably shows up on the.
Matt, can you address Dale's question, please?
Sure. It's closer to the road. So Val, that structure is here. I don't know if you can see my cursor.
Where?
Right here. It says existing dwelling.
No, not that. I was just looking at another structure that is tiny, and I thought I was on the right
Oh,
street. It said
it's-
Swift Rock.
It's actually probably the garage, the existing garage, which is currently here. Pretty much in the place where the new dwelling is proposed.
Does that address your question, really? No.
Not really, but I couldn't see this house, which was my goal. So maybe I was looking in the wrong place, I don't know. It did say Swift Rock on the sign, but
Through you,
that's all
Mr.
I
Chair.
got.
Matt?
I was just going to say that I think Val was in the correct location, and I think the structure, the smallest structure is the existing garage, and it is essentially where we're proposing the new dwelling for reference.
Okay. Could you see, was it a garage?
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
Okay.
So Val may have an incorrect reference. Okay,
Yeah.
Abby?
Yeah, so Abby Kemp, I was listening to Ray say that things are just being shifted around that we've already approved. And if I'm getting this correctly, the dwelling is moving further south from where it was originally
Yeah.
proposed. So, I think that in lieu of thinking about neighbors and such, I kind of thought this would be a better place for it. So I'm okay with what has been changed.
Thanks, Abby. Angus?
I don't have anything to add, thanks.
Val, do you have anything to add?
No.
Yeah, I agree with Ray's comment. What do we want to do with
Mr. Chair?
Yep.
Lisa has her hand raised again.
Okay. Lisa, if you can stay on the topic, we'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Lisa, you can go ahead and unmute.
Okay. I thought I was staying on the topic, but I will do my
Lisa, would
best.
you please speak to
Can
the
you-
topic as opposed to debating? Thank you.
I'm not debating.
Lisa?
Let me just,
Done. You're done. Thank you. Okay.
can I finish?
No. Not
I
if
get
you're
a
gonna-
minute.
If
I'm
you're
not-
going to debate, Lisa, you spoke most of your minute. If you want to speak on the topic, please speak on the topic. If you aren't speaking on the topic, you will not continue, okay?
Okay, I understand.
Thank you.
my question to you through you, Mr. Board Chairman, is there 3 buildings on this lot or are there going to be 5? That's my concern. If you're going to look at a full application, I think you should be able to, I think a butter should know how many buildings are going to be on the property and where are they going to be? I think
Thank-
that's fair.
Thank you. Lisa, it's a very reasonable concern. We are not looking at the totality of the site. We're looking at modifications to the location, which are relatively minor. I will add that an applicant can come in and they could have 7 structures approved on a lot subject to ground coverage. And there is nothing that stipulates that they have to build each of those. So we don't know what the plan is for each of the structures. We know that we reviewed them. We know that you brought up this concern before. We know that we've addressed it with Matt in discussion and in reviewing with perspectives. So this isn't a new topic. It doesn't mean it's not important, but it's not new. And we're not going to go back and revisit, given the presentation and the simple relocation primarily, and have that revisited or litigated in discussion. It's not a relevant matter in the mind of the board and the commission, as indicated by the fact that they just approved the modifications. Thank you. Okay, we're gonna move on to,
I don't think we voted on that.
oh, we didn't?
No.
Jeez, it seemed like a year ago.
So I
Was
will.
that your motion?
I will make a motion to approve the changes as submitted.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None opposed. Okay. Now we're gonna move on to 37 Cliff Road. Oh, Linda. Let's go back to Linda.
Because we just read Holly's recommendations on it, and we're gonna hold it so we can address Holly's concerns.
Oh,
Do we have any abutters here?
No, we are on about
this is,
10 Straight Wharf.
Okay, I mean, just, are there any abutters who'd like to raise their hand so we know you're here, because that will, okay.
And we're
Okay.
gonna hold, I wanna put that out here now, we just read her comments about Meter Street, we're gonna hold Meter Street to address her comments as well. But I think there may be somebody here from Meter, we just don't wanna open it.
Well, hold on a minute, hold on, thank you, Linda. Do we have anyone here for 5 meter?
I'm sure you did.
If you could just identify yourself by raising your hand, we're not gonna call on you at the moment.
I know she put a letter in.
There was a lot of letters.
Yeah, there was quite a few letters, surprise.
Mr. Chair, nobody's in the queue that's raising their hand.
Okay,
Because Kim has to go back and try to open the
hold on,
ice cream
Linda,
shop.
hold on, please. We're gonna, well, first of all, if it's the first, well, it's not the, yeah, it's the first hearing for those, so we'll just, the note, they were held by the applicant's agent without prior notification. There's no penalty, but it will count towards the penalty count.
We just wanna work with Holly.
Just so everyone's aware, if there's an abutter listening, but they didn't raise their hand, they understand the process. Okay, Linda, any others you're holding?
No, because George Berg is here for Sparks, and I'm here for 22 Honeysuckle.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
So we're gonna go back to 37 Cliff Road. Now,
Thank you, Mr. Chair. If I could, I'm gonna share my screen. I need permission to share my screen, if I could. Thank you very much. Okay. All right, so this is 37 Cliff Road. What we're proposing to do, there was a garage addition to the structure that dates, the date is 1990, which it's listed on the property card. And we're simply looking to remove it, demolish it essentially. The structure is connected to the existing historic main dwelling, and it's connected through this really unique connector piece, if you will. Kind of, I say unique, it's a kind word. It's kind of ramshackle, if you will. But in simplest terms, we're just looking to demolish this 1990s garage addition. So with that, look forward to comments from the board, Mr. Chair.
okay, thanks, Matt.
Well, also, if I could, I did leave one thing out, is by omitting that portion of the the garage, so that the east elevation didn't look as if it was missing something. There's an existing door into the kitchen, so we did want to add a pent roof and add a pergola in its place. That side deck gets used quite a bit, so that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Matt. Let's see, Holly had comments. Do you guys have questions? Holly, if you want to highlight anything, this is a great chance.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just that, wanted an understanding of when this portion was built, just because the HDC survey on file, which is included in my comments, was done in June 1989. Therefore, there must be a HDC and building permit approval. It sounds like it was done right after this time, so 1990s. The structure itself is from 1911, and there has been a history of connector piece onto a structure sitting at this location. So I've included that with my information as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Holly. Matt, clarification on the age?
Yeah, it's our understanding that the garage was added in 1990.
Makes sense.
Okay. Holly says makes sense.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. Mickey, you guys got anything?
Just briefly, this is Mickey Rowland. I'm representing the Historic Structures Advisory Group, which is myself, Jason Finger, Mary Bergman, and Marcia Fader. And we're fine with these changes. We would like to see kick panels on the French doors and the pergola be natural to weather. And that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. I'd like to begin. Regular board.
I can start.
Ray?
I have no objection to the removal of the garage portion. The only thing that strikes me as, odd and visible is from Cliff Road is going to be the details of the pergola, which looks, I'm looking for the right words to try and describe. It's just not your typical pergola details at all. Looks sort of space age to me, in many ways, actually. That's it.
Okay. Al?
Okay with taking the garage. I'm okay with taking the garage off. I'm finding it difficult to, the historic photos to relate to what I'm actually looking at in this house. But it looks like it wasn't even there. There was a hotel.
It's next to the hotel.
So those aren't the right photos
Which one are you?
in the packet.
Oh,
Those, through you, Mr. Chair, those were adjacent structures, and some of those photos we were just trying to demonstrate the proximity of this structure. If there's any opportunity to see a portion of this structure in a photograph, and then we thought that the historic photos were relevant, so.
okay, Matt. I thought you were trying to demonstrate how tall the HDC used to let buildings be before they existed. Val, do you want to continue?
No, thank
Abby?
you.
Yeah, I'm okay with the garage going, but I just want to clarify, the pergola is visible from Cliff Road?
It will be.
Yeah, I think that could be sort of toned down.
Through you, Mr. Chair, we could, I've kind of zoomed in on the.
Matt?
Yeah, I can hold on.
Hold on just for a minute. We want to kind of get through this one and we'll give you, I want to have everybody's comments. Thanks. Angus?
I agree about the pergola details to be natural and more typical details of a pergola. So I'm not going to suggest what that is, but they show up every week, so that's
Okay.
my concern.
Thank you. So Matt, I think the south exterior proposed is the one that throws people, and I think the stoutness of the columns versus the thinness, the reed-like swan neck rafters.
That's what I was looking for in
Isn't
terms
it
of the description.
It's a swan neck
Reed-like.
pergola. Yeah, reed-like. It's just, there's something off with it. I think we need to make it a little less whimsical. Can you handle that?
I certainly can. That's what I was going to indicate, that this is, I could definitely do something more traditional, less linear.
Thank God.
Thank God, and less stout on the post.
Can I see something?
See that? Just.
What about that?
What about, oh, the,
Overhang.
hold on, Matt.
Can't you make it a porch?
Matt, you gotta,
If I could answer that through you, Mr. Chair, I mean, we probably could. The only thing is that the terminus of the porch, when it approaches the rear rake, is one, and then two is, that is the primary outdoor space, and they do like the natural light. They really love the filtered light. So that's why we have a pergola, but
okay. Okay, Matt, so do you want to do revisions on this? Because I don't think we're going to do an Exhibit A on this.
yeah, I could do it, certainly.
Okay, perfect. So motion to hold for revisions?
Yep, so moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Look at that, happiness.
All right, thank you.
Okay, we are on to Linda Howell. Are you on 22 Honeysuckle? Okay. So your board is myself, Val, Angus, Joe, who is not with us this evening, Carrie, who's not with us this evening,
Oh, boy.
which activates Connie and Abby as
All right,
alternates.
so hang on. So we've got
Me, Val, Angus, Connie, and Abby.
you, Val, I guess. Abby, okay. 'Cause this
Oh,
was a-
will you put on the agenda that we need a CPC member?
I have that on for next
I'll
week.
follow up with you.
I have that on for next week,
Oh.
Mr. Chair.
We got our annual meeting
I
coming.
have that on for next week.
Okay, perfect.
Uh,
Go ahead, Linda.
This was a view. I did give you what you asked for, and I gave you some, the approvals for the ones on, right next to it, 18 and 20, which are roughly the same size.
Okay.
And give you those plans in your packet, and you guys are supposed to go take a view, so I'm not sure the people who didn't sit on it went to view it, but
We will let them comment. Let's see, so again, myself, Val, Angus, Connie, Abby, and Val would like to be together.
Yeah, I went out there. Gives me the heebie-jeebies going out there.
doesn't it though?
You can't even tell what road you're on, but I guess given the context of what's near this, it's okay.
Okay, wait till the trees come in.
Oh.
Abby,
Yeah, I mean, I think architecturally, it's fine, it fits in. Yeah, I don't really have any comments. I think it's fine.
okay, Connie?
I did go out there and got turned around, so, but I agree in the context, it's appropriate. Thank
Okay,
you.
how about a motion?
Wait,
Oh, Angus, I'm sorry.
hang on.
I just wanted to see if you really had something to say or not.
No, I do, because I went on a real journey. I got to the gate and it was closed. And so I thought, oh, I know how to get there. I'll go down Evergreen. So I went around and I was like just on the back side of where this was gonna go on Evergreen. And I'm like, all these houses on Evergreen look just like this. There's no problems. But I wanted to actually see the site. So I was routed all the way around just about to the Boulevard and Lover's Lane, and then finally cut through on Nancy Ann Lane and got over there. And then noticed that this slopes up from the road, and it's a two-story facade, and everything else on Honeysuckle is story and a half. And then I understood why there was a question. So that's my concern.
Well, the
Is-
two next to it are.
It's the two-story
Linda,
facade.
please. Angus, continue.
No, that's all.
That was it?
The two-story facade is out of character with what's on the street.
And just for purpose of clarification, that is period or because of the slope accentuates it?
Both, yeah.
Okay.
It's higher than what's on the street, but then literally, the lot is higher than what's on the street.
Okay, thank you. Linda, I'm not suggesting that that would address, that, this will address the concern, but I want to, before we have further discussion, I want to know what our options are. Can retainage go on the back side so that the front side can be lowered?
No, that whole side is that
Oh,
height.
no, it's okay. I just want to know
And the
so
one
we
behind us is
know.
actually 6 feet above us, so.
I just want to know so we know what we're working with. Thank you. Ray.
I'm not on.
Oh, you're not on it?
No.
Oh, okay. Abby
It's gone.
is gone. Sorry, guys. It's
Val went, Connie
Oh,
went.
no, it's down to Stephen.
down to me.
Yeah. Connie
Connie went. Might be that Angus and I are in the minority. I agree that the height, the double story on top of the higher lot is, I think, out of character.
Yeah,
Now, is it out of character with the overall community? No. Is there some way you could mitigate that?
no,
I don't want to,
you know, because we've already approved 20, it's the same height.
20,
And
but
eight-
is the
and
lot
18,
height
and
the
18.
same? Relative to the street?
Here's the thing about,
18 and 20 are exactly the same grade and the same height.
Yeah, but they're shorter than this.
Mm-mm.
No?
6 inches maybe,
So we have the 3 bricks going on out there, but they're gonna be shingled?
pretty much.
Okay.
They're double the size of the lots on the one on the other side of the street.
Thank you, Val.
it is very difficult to tell what you're even looking at out there. You have to have your little GPS with you, can go, which road am I on? Because it's such a boondoggle.
Yes, yeah, Richmond is responsible for putting the.
Linda, what's the overall height of the structure?
30,
Yeah, I think it's gotta be lower.
same height as the other one,
Yeah, I know, but,
and they're right next to each
and
other.
these are stick-built too, so there's no, I just wanna bring us all back down memory lane, the fondness we all feel for sitting in the back room with Dinah and saying, the height is subject to these being modular construction. If they're stick-built, they will be 2 feet shorter. And we seem to have lost track of that a little bit. So
Well,
I'm not
if they have-
necessarily suggesting that these need to be 2 feet shorter,
Horse has already left the barn.
but
out there.
the barn door has 5 guards, and we're sitting right here. So,
Well, the one next to it, you already approved on consent, same height. 18, I gave you the plans for that one too in your packets, and they're all very similar, but these lots are the big lots, the market rate lots, and they're twice the size of the lots elsewhere in that division, except for the clubhouse, which is to the right of this.
I stand by my point. I think it's too tall. And we'll see what the commission wants to do.
Mr. Chair,
Connie?
could we ask for a streetscape?
I can't hear.
Could we,
Well, Linda, hold on a second. Connie, was there anything else you wanted to say?
no, that was
Okay.
it. Could we ask for a
We
streetscape?
would like a streetscape of the approved heights.
That's why you took a viewing.
18, 20, yeah, but 18 and 20 haven't been built yet.
That's why I gave you the plans. Because
18
we
and
did have
20, so we need a streetscape that shows 18 and 20 on their relative height difference. Topographically.
Okay.
Okay.
18 and 20 have been approved already.
18, 20, and then we'll have 22.
Okay.
Okay, so that's Connie's motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you, Connie. Now we're gonna move on to Linda Williams. Is she here?
No.
Linda?
No.
I'm still
18,
trying to get over town meeting.
18 to 26 Sparks Ave, hardscape.
Kathy, you need to bring George Berg over.
I'm in.
Okay, what this is, George is here.
Well, you guys have 2 minutes, 1 minute, and then
We'll
of
give him,
butters.
I'm just gonna set it up. You guys asked us to make sure that the plan reflected what you guys had seen all along when we were doing the elevations. And it does, and I believe Holly looked at it and she can verify that. And so there you go. George is up there. George has his hand up.
Okay, before you begin,
Oh, who's on
George,
it?
before George begins, welcome. Your
Thank you.
board is myself, Abby, Angus, Ray, and Connie.
Hold on. Hang on.
Perfect. I'd like to share my screen if that's possible. I have the same presentation up, but I think we've lost a little of the mojo here.
I think we can arrange that. We just want to verify while that's getting set up, George, what you're showing us is what's in the digital submission on file?
That is correct. I am sharing that
Okay.
same file.
Sounds good.
All right. You should all be able to see my screen. And I will keep it as brief as I can. So the sheet number one is the hardscape plan. It's pretty typical to what we have been showing all along. There are a couple of things on here based on Holly's review that I'd like to address. But in general, what we're looking to do here is extend the brick and granite edging of the sidewalk that's in front of Cumberland Farms across the entire Sparks Ave project, going through what would be the Plan West curb cut over towards what's in front of House Fitters, and then extending that through, if you recall, House Fitters parking lot is now going to be accessible through this lot, closing up the curb cut here, and again, matching that brick until it terminates just a little bit beyond House Fitters. The existing is a paved sidewalk here in front of the Sparks Ave properties 18 to 26 with a bituminous berm. What we're proposing to do here is to match the brick. And we understand that we may have to get some brick samples out there so that we can do a viewing with the town DPW. The intent is to completely match the brick that's on the existing sidewalks all the way around. We're also looking to match, and the misnomer of cobblestones here is these are granite pavers, very similar to what's on the edge of the sidewalks. We're going to bound that and match roughly what's at Cumberland's right now, and then extend the granite curb that's recessed so that it's flush across that. Because we now have a double width here, we're going to petition the town to construct, and we'll construct a crosswalk from the Cumbies opening over to our opening on this side. With regard to the fences, we have an atypical fence here, and we understand that. We have no problem changing that to a 5-in-1. We would like to consider keeping the existing board fence that's on the property line. It is Cumberland's, but it's a 4-foot board fence that runs along this area, and would be putting the 5-in-1 across the back here. The rest of the hardscape, typical lanterns, bike bollards, which are going to be limited to the cross through. We have some low pathway lights. You can see them highlighted here in yellow along that way. Again, we have Glengarry brick here, but we understand that we have to match what's out there, and we're willing to do that. Thermal bluestone pavers for a couple of the patio areas here. And again, these aren't cobbles. That's a misnomer. They look like they're granite pavers. They're not, they're not anything other than granite pavers. Very
Thanks,
quickly.
George,
I'm sorry?
we're gonna hold you there.
Okay.
I think you hit all the high points and a lot in between.
Mr. Chair, just through you, there was a concern when this was originally approved that the plantings that we were showing on our renderings, I believe in Holly's review, she noted that on our elevations, they do appear to be similar or matching to those, and that's it. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna address that with my comments. Okay, Val is not sitting. Connie is. Who would like to begin?
Can we-
Yeah, can we hear from?
I would love to, yeah.
Holly?
Holly had some comments.
Okay. Well,
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So, yes, the 2024 condition was that a landscape plan be submitted to the HDC that reflects in illustrations and site plans shown to the board, which is attached to my comments. It does, it's fairly similar. There were some discrepancies that I did notate. One were those granite curb stone transition strips where they're at the entrance at Sparks. I'm glad to hear that the intent is to match what's existing at Cumbies. They should be consistent, so that's great. The 6-foot privacy fence is atypical. I do think it should be what the board typically approves, either a 5-in-1 normal with the very square top, or be a board fence. I notate that there are board fences in the area. And then that the brick should match the Cumbies, as you mentioned. He's gonna wanna make sure that DPW is okay with it, because I do notate a lot of this goes into the right-of-way. So that's something that will need to be done. But also, there was a notation for herringbone. There should not be any herringbone. Recommend straight running bond. So those are my main comments. I think for the most part, George has matched what you all reviewed during the whole two-building process. Thank you.
Yeah, the herringbone is
Thanks,
over
Ally.
at
Linda?
House Fitters. He's
Through
not-
through you, Mr. Chair.
Yeah,
I didn't address the herringbone, but the current paving on the house fitters lot is a herringbone pattern. In very early discussions with Mr. Young, we talked about matching that so that he has some level of identity. You'll notice that we do have the granite pavers segregating the main parking lot for this with that. Now, herringbone versus a running bond, for me, is a non-issue, but I did just want to note that his current parking lot for house fitters is a herringbone pattern.
okay, thanks. Who'd like to begin?
I can.
Ray?
So as long as we're on that issue of herringbone versus the running, I actually think that because you have that transition, it's kind of, a very subtle indicator to people that pay attention to stuff like this, that something has happened historically here, that there's a change in the pattern. So I'm in favor of breaking it, not running herringbone all the way around. Now my next thing is regarding the fence between this property and Cumberland Farms. Is that your fence or Cumberland Farms fence? I didn't get that part.
That's Cumbies.
I believe it's Cumby's fence.
Okay, so Cumby's fence literally runs 6 feet high all the way out to the property
No,
line?
4. It's 4.
Oh, it's 4 feet?
Yeah, this entire
We're gonna go
run.
It's labeled as a
Guys.
6-foot high, excuse me, but on the plan, it's labeled as a 6-foot high wood fence.
In the back it is.
Sorry.
No,
Yeah.
it's on the side. It says 6-foot high wood privacy
it's 4.
fence, right there. I'm looking at it.
Through you,
So,
Mr. Chair,
I
we'd
mean,
like
I
to
just think
change.
that's not only odd and something that we don't normally approve, but also potentially dangerous for anybody that's trying to, get out and see what's coming down the road before they move into the sidewalk. So that's
Agreed.
number 2. And number 3 is really small, but this lamp that you're using is sort of the feature for the lighting in the parking area, this Philadelphia lamp with the eagle flying off of it, or a little mini tiny eagle, I think is a little bit much. The ones over at Stop and Shop are similar, but they're more subtle. They're not as gaudy.
Fancy.
Pardon.
Yeah. Thank you, Ray.
Thank you.
Angus?
I agree about the fence piece and the sidewalk. The lighting, yeah, seems a little over the top, so that would want to be simplified. And I remember when the architectural plans were being reviewed, looking at the landscaping that was sort of setting the streetscape. There was a concern about them being a certain size, so the 4 to 5 inch caliper was what was the board's request, because that's what's on the plan.
Anything else?
That was kind of there wasn't really a question session, but that would have been my question.
Are they 5-inch caliper?
Yeah, is that what you guys had approved
Yeah.
when?
I'll take that up when I
Okay.
go, Angus.
All right, that's all, thanks.
Yep, just so you know. It's gonna be a condition of the approval, so, Abby?
Gosh, this is a lot of hardscaping. It's going to be a big change. And I'm assuming that where you're parking is asphalt. I'm trying to picture like a northeaster going on with wind whipping down the street. This is really hard hardscaping. And I would like to see more vegetation, something softer presented, something more human scale, just a little more, where are the humans going to sit? Where are they going to walk? To me, this is a rollout, sort of a parking lot. And I would like to see some changes. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, let's see, I'm having technical difficulties here. So Ray went, Abby went, Angus went, Connie.
Me, yes. I don't have much else to add. I agree with what's already been stated about the bricks and
I can't hear you.
oh, sorry. I don't have anything much else to add, but I do agree about the fence and the bricks, especially the lights, if that can be simplified. It is a lot of hardscape. If we could somehow mitigate with some grass or something green, that would be favorable too. Thank you.
Thank you, Connie. So, a couple things. One, I'm pretty sure those aren't Glengarry in front of Cummings.
No, they're S&H.
They're S&H.
They're S&H.
So, and I'm not, nothing against the DPW, but we're not making our decisions based on the DPW. I got word that some historic streets, they're like not putting in brick that meet the prior
Right.
established recommendations.
They're orange.
So I'm certainly not gonna be supporting that. I don't believe that's something the HDC would be supporting. We'll take that up at another time. So, with respect to that and any other surface materials, I'm going to suggest that, actual samples will be reviewed and approved by signature of the chair or the vice chair at the time that they're submitted. Lighting, obviously night sky, these, what's proposed need to be, a traditional Nantucket application, and I think those also need to be signed off prior to installation, prior to purchasing, so on and so forth. The herringbone, I agree with Ray's comment wholeheartedly, couldn't have said it better. It reminded me of like, historic Faneuil Hall area, where they didn't just go and lay it all out new when they did it. Tree type, what is the tree, George? What are the primary trees that are showing?
Well, the large trees, red oaks on the corners, red oaks here. The larger trees here are red maples. And they're the caliper that was shown on the original plans. We have, I believe, 4 to 5 inch caliper trees at planting. I have to take a look at the red maples, but I know the red oaks are that caliper.
So, we did discuss that those would be a minimum, I believe, of 4-inch caliper or
Yep.
5-inch caliper at the time of the original approval. I'm going to request that I think we have support, this isn't news. That was then, same thing now, and that is gonna be a condition of the inspection, they're literally be measured.
Sure.
I would suggest, can the red oak, skyline locust, something that's lighter, that is going to allow some filtered light in, and not a bunch of leaves in the winter that are large and slippery on all that brick. I've got a tiny bit of landscape experience, so I'd suggest you look at that. And I think that should get signed off too. I don't think it needs to come back, but I think there's a few things that need to be signed off.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, that was what was that
I
suggestion?
think it's a skyline, a locust, so
They're
it's the
narrower.
non-thorny, non-seeding variety.
And they're tighter.
Yep.
They're a little tighter, but they still have, it's a much softer than rigid conical red oaks.
Same 5 to 6 inch caliper at the time
Yeah.
of planting.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Is anyone uncomfortable with any of that?
Could I add something?
Yes, please.
So part of my objection is that the green parts just seem like beauty strips. There's not an area that's green in general. So I'd like to see that added to this.
We can't.
I'm gonna need little more
Okay,
to
so
work on. Like,
just
can you
it-
point to something with,
Well, I'm just saying that there's green strips around, these are just like beauty strips you see on 95. And just, plop, 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 a couple of trees. That's pretty harsh for that area.
Abby, I'm 150% behind you, but there's parking lot radiuses, turns for fire trucks,
Sure.
parking number of spaces.
Well, that's something that maybe they should have thought of when they
Okay.
planned this.
I'm just- yeah.
But I mean, and there's plantings in between the two buildings that's a little wind tunnel and nothing's going to grow in between those two buildings. I mean,
Oh, I don't know about that.
you might, yeah.
Can I just
Please.
interject just for a moment? The motion is going to be for revisions, is it not?
I thought it was through staff with those caveats.
All of this is going to be handled through staff?
I think it would be best to have this, I'd like to have a little block put on the drawings that indicate approval of the brick with a signature, approval of the granite, approval of any of the materials, including the lights.
Oh,
I
okay.
think that would be appropriate to put on the drawings as a revision.
Through
Okay.
staff?
Yep.
With
No,
you?
it'll be, well, no, it could be through staff. It would be a submission through staff.
With you signing off?
Yeah, well, whoever is, who knows, the chair or the vice chair. And the concept of that, just to elaborate very briefly, is that we're confirming that what's proposed matches what exists.
what's
We're
existing.
not like selecting a new type of granite or
Right.
something else.
So we
Right.
deal with the fence, we
It would
deal with
be,
the.
hold on a
that
second,
stuff.
Linda. It will be the brick, the granite, the lighting,
Trees.
the street light, the poles and the caps,
Yep,
the fence,
yep.
and tree, and then the tree type, we want to sign off on, and a condition of the approval is that the trees will be a 5-inch caliper as measured at time of inspection.
Okay.
And the herringbone will be kept. And clarification or correction of the Cumberland Farms fence, which is not 6 feet adjacent to Sparks.
One question for you to clarify.
Uh,
The herringbone up on House Fitters,
No?
that lot, because of the ZBA decisions and the planning board decisions, is split already. His parking lot is split between our half and his half. Both halves are herringbone. We're not proposing to touch any of that brick parking that's existing now. So that is already all herringbone, half on ours and half on his. We're not changing it at all. That's what he asked for.
That's what we're requesting.
Okay, because there's no herringbone anywhere else.
Yeah.
It's running
that's-
bond.
That's what we're requesting.
Okay.
So, and I'll look at that maybe not tomorrow, but Thursday or
Through,
Friday.
through you, Mr. Chair.
George, just a moment, please.
Okay.
Abby.
The dumpster, are we okaying that as well? Because we don't know what that looks like.
That's going to have a fence.
It's gated, it'll look like.
There's a gated
the
fence.
one at Cumbies,
Yeah,
the other Cumbies.
At the
the other
stop.
company.
Yeah. Are you familiar with that one, Abby? The other Cumbies has a kind of a gated enclosure.
Yeah, I have it in my mind, yeah.
Okay. Anything else, Abby?
No.
I know you want more green, I don't think there's widespread support.
Yeah, the planning board had to sign off on
Yeah.
that too.
Okay.
That's just, I'm just not gonna get into elaborating on that.
So that's a pretty loaded motion,
Yeah.
Mr. Chair.
So it'll be written up, that, well, why don't we just hold for that title block? We'll have it at the beginning of the meeting next week. George doesn't even have to come on Zoom if he doesn't want to. We'll have that, boom, done. We can sign off on it. It'll just be a perfunctory, it'll be a technicality.
So you want it in before noon on Thursdays usually?
Yeah, it's a title block. He's just gotta
Yeah.
write it up. It's gonna take, 15 seconds.
So this is
Mr. Chair, is
hold
that something we
Hold for
could do?
approval next week?
Yeah, yeah, we'll hold,
Okay.
George, you just gotta flip around that list. You're gonna enjoy listening to this meeting again and, put it all on there and then we'll have a very quick session next week.
Beginning of next
Hold
week?
on a minute, Linda.
Mr. Chair, I don't have a lot of wiggle room with the posting the agenda. I have to post it by 2 on Thursday because of the holiday
I
on
know, because
Monday.
the holiday's Monday.
Okay.
Yeah, so
So
you guys
text
got to
her.
snap to it.
Yeah,
You
we'll
okay
deal
with
with
that,
it.
George?
Snap them.
Yes, now, would you like that sign off block, on each one of the drawings, or can I do that
Yes.
on a separate letterhead?
The
We'd
drawings.
like it on the drawings.
Okay,
And this is the
Are you good
beginning
with
of
that,
next, beginning of next week, Mr. Chairman,
Pardon
Well-
me?
beginning of next week.
I'm sorry, there was a spontaneous exclamation. I wasn't sure what happened.
Beginning
Go
of
ahead.
next week's meeting.
Yes, we're gonna, well, reasonably so, yes.
yeah,
It's not-
Give or take somebody who's in front
I
of us.
think Ray's made a motion.
So moved.
Thank you. On Ray's motion, say, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any
We're holding,
opposed?
holding.
We're gonna have it back next week.
You're gonna see the
Aye.
language.
Yes. And if you wanna,
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah,
Sweet
you didn't have a ton of that. Yeah, we could, whatever one, if you've got a plant preference, please put it in.
We'll do it. We've been working with Katie Mitchell.
Yeah, okay, great, thank you. We're
Thank
gonna
you.
take a break. We'll be
Oh.
return at 6 PM.
thank you, everybody.
6
Night, night.
PM, not
Not 6:01,
6
not
a.m.
6:03. Side.
Oh,
We're gonna
45
address
Surfside.
number, one
Oh.
of number heading 7.
I'm sorry, where are you, Stephen?
Isn't- yeah.
Oh.
Good evening.
As-built
Please approach
fence.
the mic, state your name for the record, and we will have you walk us through your.
Portia Merzinger, I have absolutely nothing prepared. Oh, that, okay.
Perfect.
Yes.
Your quick study.
Perfect, yes. So the application is for an as-built for the sign fence that we had by the road previously, but it was run over by a customer when we were closed. So, but they didn't say anything, so.
It's Mr. Chair.
What?
So.
Hit and run.
Yeah, so, which, we didn't really care that much, because it's, I don't think they meant to do it, but, or maybe they did,
You
I
mean
don't know.
this fence we're looking at got run over?
The fence that was there before this fence was run over,
okay.
yeah.
Okay, so this is a
Linda
replacement.
Earlier?
I was not,
Okay, because you're getting really good at this, quick. Go
thank
ahead, I'm
you.
sorry to interrupt.
No, no worries. So the fence was run over. The sign was completely fine. So that's the original sign. We got something in the mail saying that about the fence and the sign, but the sign was already approved. It's the exact same sign. It just was on the fence that was run over.
Mr. Chair, I can provide some clarity. It was on a split rail fence before, and the split rail fence got knocked over, so they put the
fence
sign
was a
on a
different
new fence. And this is a new fence you're looking at, which wasn't approved.
Okay.
So that's why Portia's here.
Thank you. It is Abby, Angus, myself, Ray, and Connie. And who'd like to go?
I can start.
Ray.
You know, I was actually at the building next door before this even came up as an application. I looked over and I said, oh, that looks nice. And, you know, then I saw that it was an application for an as-built. But my own view is like the sign itself, and I'm not sure we're even discussing the sign, probably just the fence.
Yeah, that's the same sign that
It's
was
the same
approved, the
sign.
exact
Yeah,
same sign.
So, I don't know, I find it attractive. There's not any, there's no type 2 painted white pickets around there, as you can see from the photograph, but I really don't see this as like a detriment to the neighborhood. I see it as an
Thank you.
enhancement. That's it, thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
I have no concerns. I know we're not looking at the sign, but it almost kind of fades into it, so.
My mom said the same thing.
Yeah, something, yeah.
Yeah,
a little
she
more
wanted to put
prominent.
a black border around it, but
I'm
that,
sorry, I'm gonna, so we can move this along. So, Angus?
Yeah, so, I mean, at first glance, it's like, oh, type 2 fence, but then you notice the posts sticking out and the caps, and it's probably a little bit higher than normal. But it's a fence that would normally be closer into the core, and when you sort of look at Surfside Road, starting at Five Corners, going all the way out to Surfside, this might be one of one or one of two. And I would much rather it be natural, and it would make the sign pop. But what's happening is the whole fence is popping in the landscape. So I would say, you know, not to rebuild it, you could paint it gray, but just something to make it blend in with the landscape better than the wall of white.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Abby?
Yeah, I was kind of thinking along those lines as well. I thought it popped a little too much on Surfside Road just to have such a small stretch of white, just boom, suddenly there. It seems a little out of place. Yeah, and I can't think of any other white picket fences around this area. So I think painting it gray would be, calm it down a lot. Yeah, that's a good suggestion. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Portia, the sign is just on the one we see, there's not one on both sides?
there's one sign. It is double-sided. It is one sign.
Gotcha, okay.
So it was like that before.
It's okay, I just wanted to understand. I think For me, I think you just need to raise the grade around this a little bit. So from this side and from the other side. Can we go back to the other image, please?
Didn't even notice that, like a foot.
Yeah, just, I know you've got plant material, grass material here, but that could go back in. Just, it's very unusual to have a fence this high up off the ground at the bottom, and it looks awkward, and I don't think it was an intention, but nevertheless it exists. So if you mounded that grade a little bit, and it just softly came down to the Cape Cod berm, and then you could plant the grasses. And I do agree, I think like a light gray would be appropriate, and it would make the sign pop a little bit more. And it would also kind of let this blend in a little bit more, and then in a few more years, when Surfside Road turns cosmopolitan, you could come in and you could
Request
go
white.
for white.
Add some more.
Okay?
Yeah. I'll make a motion to that effect.
It'll work out. It's better than some of the options that they could have come up with.
So we have to paint it gray?
Yeah.
I would like rather gouge my eyes out than like it, this
You might
is,
not want to put that on record, because then you're either gonna have to do one or the other.
okay, well,
I mean,
okay,
we are
I
the-
won't,
We
but,
are the authority having jurisdiction, and it was, something was put up without approval, so, it's not an unreasonable request, given the fact that there aren't other signs. In fact, I think some of the signs at the school, they had the boards up, those were Nantucket gray to match the trim. It's not uncommon in that area, and I know it's not something you probably want to deal with, but it would be appropriate for you to.
I just have a question. So we were approved like 2 years ago to paint the fencing at 45, not the landscape fencing, but the fencing. So when you look over from the road, all the fencing on the building, white. But we just haven't done that yet. Would that make you feel more comfortable that that's white and this is white and it all matches?
I think it's a good question. I got a feeling the answer is gonna be,
Could bring the whole thing back, I would.
yeah, I think probably they might even say, if you give them an option, go with light gray. So, is there anyone who is adverse to a light gray, not a platinum gray, not a silver gray, but lighter than Nantucket gray?
Oh, you're saying platinum is too,
I think it'd be a little too light.
Platinum is darker than
it's not that,
It's
you
got
know,
some
my building
substance.
on,
Oh, that's platinum?
yeah, that's
Oh, I
platinum.
thought it was more.
Yeah, it's not light.
I think
Okay,
it's-
yeah, so platinum gray, is anyone?
Yeah, I was gonna suggest raising the earth up to,
So
you know,
mound the grade.
mound the grade and maybe add a couple more grasses so that, and so that it sort of sits down lower and change the color to platinum gray,
Of the fence, not the sign.
the fence only.
Fence and fence cap and posts. Okay, and Abby, you'll write that up as a condition. on
Sure,
the-
that's my motion for
And you
starters.
have until October 1st. So, I mean, there's stuff going on for the season, getting somebody in there might be difficult, areas like that, I understand.
Or sooner.
Or sooner, I mean, sooner's better, but, okay. On
On my motion,
your why don't we say September 1st?
okay.
Okay. On Abby's motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'm going to abstain just because I was fine with it the way it was.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, now, we are on to 6 Orange Street. Mr. Hollister, good evening. How you doing?
Let's see.
Why don't you go ahead and walk?
Oh, boy.
Okay, so Steve Hollister, 6 Orange Street. It's the St. Mary's Rectory. I think you guys are all familiar with the building. It was built in 1800 for Captain James Easton. We've done a lot of work to it to preserve it as best as possible, including reconditioning all of the existing windows, new pulleys, new old-fashioned metal weather strips, all that kind of stuff. There was even an Anderson window somewhere else on the building that didn't make sense, and so we changed that to an arch window to match the rest. This is the most rearward portion of the structure. It faces east.
No, it's fine.
It is a second floor sunroom that's never been insulated properly. And it's a bit of an odd duck on the structure. It's not original. The mass below it was originally a single story. And we actually discovered evidence of a hip roof underneath it.
Wow.
And then they covered the hip roof with a balcony, but they set the balcony height above the entirety of the hip roof. And so then eventually they converted that balcony into a sunroom. And so to enter the sunroom, you actually go up 3 risers of a set of steps, and you go through an old window opening that has been turned into a Dutch door. So it's an odd duck, as I said. Never quite fully winterized. The windows are in awful shape. And so what we are asking is whether or not we can put Anderson A-series casement windows here. So each set of 3 windows would be 3 Anderson units mulled together by Anderson. So there's no stud pocket. There's a sort of thin strip of their proprietary cladding basically between the 3 sashes. The 2 side sashes in each triptych of windows would be operational, and the middle one would be fixed. We will put a sill back underneath it as existed previously, and we can bury the flanges of the Anderson units into what are kind of the dividing posts and under the frieze above. And so the client's hope is that this can be a more comfortable room that could be used in the wintertime, and so that's why the request is there for insulated glass as opposed to single pane. And the hope is that since there are no divided lights there now and no muntins, that maybe that might be okay.
Okay, thanks. Questions?
Yeah, is there a picture of that window he's going to put in there?
I don't believe, you have one?
There's a picture of it in a quote that has been attached to the application.
Well, okay, yeah.
Wow.
While you're looking for that, Abby, so Stephen, that unit frame, you're basically saying you're gonna dado the casings to hide that? With the, not the casings, but so much as the frieze and the faux column?
Oh, that's interesting. No, we can bury the flange of the Anderson, sort of the plastic waterproofing flange.
Okay.
If we were to, I'm trying to think if we could accomplish that. If we were to dado the posts and dado the frieze above, you'd still have a dividing strip in between the 2 sashes, which would be dissimilar to the edges of that.
Yeah, it's just it came up earlier, I don't think you were here, but, and it may not be a concern here, but the concern is typically that uniframe that goes around the Anderson window, and trying to mask that is difficult, especially where it's most important, which is the sill, because then you're burying it in a way that isn't really a weather efficient, storm efficient, rain efficient way to do it.
Okay, if you wanted us to dado the sill and mill weep holes in it such that the water could basically run behind the sill, that we could do. And maybe if you were okay with the frame showing on the sides and the top, I can't make the middle.
I think it's the sill that makes more of it. I mentioned it because I know that's a concern, so I'm throwing it out there.
Yeah, okay. I think we could accomplish hiding the frame at the bottom if that was a condition.
Okay. Yeah, standoffs or whatever it is, just look more like a plank frame than a typical. Abby?
Do I get to go again? Yeah. Okay. Well, I was wondering what color is the frame? Is it white?
It's green.
Oh, it's green.
Well, it could be green or white, whatever you prefer. Most of the windows on the building are green. It's a notch darker than Essex. We've been using dark forest, but we can go white if that's your preference.
The sashes on the existing house are dark green?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
And so the existing windows there are green as well.
Yeah.
My own personal opinion might be, I want to hear from others, but I think white might blend into this whole unit, but just looking at it, as we're seeing here, it's hard to make a judgment call. What material are below those gang windows?
It's a vertical edge and center bead. And then at the height of the floor, there's almost what looks like a chair rail. So you can see the upper tar paper there and then the lower tar paper. The dividing line between those two papers is about the elevation of the floor, which is higher than the rest of the second floor. And so there was sort of like a bull nose with a little bit of scotia underneath it at that elevation that basically just bifurcated the edge and center bead, vertical beadboard.
And is that white?
Above and below, and that has all been white, yes. Yep.
All right.
Anything else, sir?
No, I want to hear from other people because I don't quite understand the situation.
Okay, right.
I'd like to hear from Mickey Rowland.
Okay, Mickey.
Thank you.
I do have comments.
So, this is a great old building, and it seems like a shame to put vinyl Anderson windows on this building. I question whether those that are there now were ever approved. I'm sure there's a way to use wood framed windows and accomplish the same thermal concerns that the owner has. And I think you'll get, your paint to match. It's not going to be white, then you want to match the green. I think there's a number of reasons to try to go with the wooden sash rather than the Andersons. Thank you.
Thanks, Mickey. Did anyone have questions on Holly's comments? Sorry, Holly.
Okay.
You blended in over there. Okay, Angus? And then going back.
I agree with Mickey's thoughts on this. I mean, this is an exceptional historic structure, and the casements aren't something that we would have approved. I'd rather see wood windows there as well. It would work better with the other details, the rest of the house. I don't mind this sort of feeling of an enclosed porch. And it appears that the rest of the sash is a dark green. So it makes sense for the sash to remain dark green. And that, I think, also assists with the concept of this being an enclosed porch. Thank you.
Thanks, Angus. Right.
Stephen, I'm going to guess that the reason you're doing the Andersons is for cost reasons.
It plays into it big time, yeah, for sure.
Because the more I think about it, the more I think like you could get this same product from Marvin, definitely, maybe Boston Sash in a wood. I think, and I'm only speaking for myself here, this precedent exists, and honestly, I've walked, by this 1,000 times and never noticed they were like sliding windows.
Right.
I love this building. I never noticed that this was what was happening on the second floor of the back. So I guess what I'm saying there is if these went to insulated glass, that is not a concern for me at all. But, for some more money, and I really can't quantify that, you could be using another product that was wood, and it would sort of bring this whole project, a really beautiful house renovation up a notch rather than keeping it more or less status quo. Thank you.
Thanks, Connie.
Yeah, I agree. I think wood would be more appropriate, and I would be in favor of the green or Essex green or whatever sash. Thank you.
Thanks. Steve, no question that what you're proposing would be an upgrade, and there is precedent for it, but I think you get the writing on the wall. And I think that kind of invisible green color is perfect for the sash.
Yeah.
So it sounds like maybe we can, as opposed to holding them up, for additional information, we could provide some options, and then that would give you all, you an opportunity to work it out with your client, and there maybe be it would be insulated Boston sash and insulated Marvin and insulated Norfolk, or who do they?
Well, we do have to be, Green Mountain, we have to be careful, because, as a board, we're not supposed to be recommending a
Well,
product.
actually, I want to qualify my statement for the people at home. Windows like these three is really what
There
we're
we
talking
go,
about.
that's good. That's safe.
Wood windows with Nantucket profiles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we want to give specific examples because it's,
Well, Steve's in the biz, he knows
Yeah.
what we're talking about.
I can do that for sure.
and I mean, the other thing is, I'm just gonna throw that out there is, like, we looked at the Anderson renewal window today.
Oh.
And that was a nice looking mutton and
There you go.
sash. You might, I don't know, are casements the ideal for wind redirection, or?
Casements are, they're better than these sliders in terms of keeping water out, for sure. So casements, awnings, those options are easier to construct as well, and more cost effective.
Well, I was just thinking it's more difficult you can certainly do it, but it's more difficult to locally make a casement. But if there's an option where I would presume there's an option where you utilize insulated glass with even that Anderson, for me, the Anderson material, but not the frame. That's the sticker for me.
Okay, got it.
Because you drive by it and you see that. But why don't we leave it at the applicants? I would suggest the applicant and the applicant's agent have a motion to approve, subject to applicant's agent having an option to use windows similar to Green Mountain, Boston Sash, or Marvin that have a traditional mutton and frame.
Historic?
Is that good for you guys?
Is it, so it's not coming back to us? We're not
Yeah.
gonna see a sample of this?
No, I mean, Marvin, Boston Sash, and what's the other one I just said? Green Mountain?
Green Mountain.
Yeah, I mean, we approve those on buildings all the time.
I would make that motion in the dark green.
In the dark green. And I can write it up. So on Angus's motion,
As just a question for clarification, do you have a recommendation in terms of operation, or is casement, awning, sliding, they're all okay? As long as we meet those conditions?
and given the location, I don't have
I'm
a
okay
concern.
with it, because we already have sliders there.
And casements are on the oldest building.
Yeah, okay.
True.
All right, great.
I would go with sliders, actually, because the awning is gonna look kind of odd.
Okay.
Coming out at
So are you good with
I
the
had
motion?
I had a motion.
Okay, so the motion is the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So I'll write that up. You're good to go.
Okay, thank you.
And we're gonna do the hardscape.
Yes, please. Okay, so same building, hardscape. Forgive me, do you want me to do the
Yeah.
same intro? Okay.
Yeah, just do a quick walkthrough, would be wonderful.
Okay, so for the hardscape, we're talking about the north side of the lot, which is the side that's closer to Main Street. And so you're coming up Orange Street, driving out of town, the bank is on your left. Then there's an open lawn below the rectory as you're rising the hill of Orange Street. And so there is an existing masonry wall that's starting to heave, a set of stairs that's very narrow and starting to fall apart. And so what we are proposing is to replace that wall and move it closer to the building. The detailing of the wall, we've borrowed from the front of the building. There's a concrete wall that we're repairing and is being parged, which has that balustraded fence on top of it, which we have refurbished and put back. And so the stairs have sort of a concave radius in the wall on both sides that flanks the stairs. There's a set of brick stairs that goes up to the front door, and so we are proposing that we match that detail with the new retaining wall. And there's actually been a supplement to the application since this drawing. And as we're following along, that would be probably the best to look at.
Yeah, why don't we, is it submitted digitally, Steve?
Yes.
Yeah, there's.
It's a supplement.
Yeah, that's it there. And so we've moved the wall back. And in order to accommodate the grade, we've basically done a two-tiered wall. And so it was important to try and keep the new exposed wall that is visible at the lawn grade not really any higher than the existing retaining wall. And so what we did was create a terrace system where there's a second wall set back from that lower wall that'll be fully planted and obscured and hopefully completely hidden from view. And so the hope is that the client can use the lawn more effectively, that there will be a better connection between the rectory and this lower lawn. I think right now the lower lawn honestly reads like it's part of the bank as opposed to the rectory. And so the hope is to sort of integrate the two spaces a little bit better. And then also there's a request to add a fence along the back of the lot line. Or the Whale, the restaurant on Main Street, is in a butter on that side. So they just want a little privacy from the sort of the hustle and bustle of the restaurant there.
Okay. Questions? I have a question. Angus.
So that privacy fence that would separate you from, or the Whale, is that, I've got to go back to the other, could you please go back to the first landscaping one? Yeah, so maybe it's here, yeah. So the question is it just this? Is it this? That is a heavy line there, but I think that's edging. I think the fence is actually here, but.
That's right, yeah.
And does it stop there or does it go along here?
It would stop there.
Right there?
Right there is
Okay.
where it would basically join the back of the bank and stop.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions?
No.
Any questions for Holly on her comments? Mickey?
Yes, so on the north side, where we're talking about the wall and the lawn, we would really prefer it to remain as an exposed stone wall, a single stone wall rather than the double tiered cement parged wall with a cap. It's kind of creates, right now it respects the natural grade. And the tiered look is sort of a natural feel to it. Whether it moves or not, I guess if they need more space, they'll have to, instead of, they could repair it or rebuild it, but if they're gonna move it, they'll have to rebuild it entirely. But still, it's existing as stone, and we'd like to continue looking that way. On this, I assume we're also talking about the changes on the south side regarding the parking area? Is that true?
Yes.
Okay, so that's a concern also. It's shown as a lot of gravel along that area is going to be very exposed to Gardner Court. And, if they're just shifting the parking toward the main street or towards Orange Street, that's fine. But to add, almost double the size of the parking and all that gravel is a lot of gravel on that area. And it extends around the back of the building too. It just seems sort of an unnatural finish surface. So we prefer that to have more vegetation there. Thank you.
Thanks, Mickey. Okay, same as the last time, Angus, Abby, Ray, Connie, and myself would like to go.
Mr. Chair,
Oh, go ahead.
I just wanted to add, I did notate that on the site plan, it does say explore new brick walk and explore retaining driveway with brick curbing. Those are of concern. Gardner Court is a public way from 1799. And then I also wanted to mention that to that point, there's proposed AC units. There are 5 or 6 of them that you're going to see off of Gardner Court, again, a public way. Those should be enclosed. And what does that enclosure look like? But I did have a concern on the material change. I don't think Gardner Court necessarily should be changed. Again, it's a public way. So those are my comments. Thank you.
Thanks, Holly. Okay, let's see, Ray.
So, yeah, there's a lot of tough things, good questions have been brought up here. The gravel off of the court is, that's tough. I just, it really kind of takes away from that procession, that pedestrian procession down there. Agree on the shielding the AC units for sure. And, I guess with respect to this tiered wall, I can certainly see why the church would be interested in having it appear less to be a back of the bank or side of the bank than their property. I really like the existing stone wall, but I can see the rationale in stepping it. And the concrete, interestingly enough, is what the front wall is. And, nobody around here loves new concrete, but I think there's a lot of really great examples of old concrete, once it's weathered in, that are really fabulous. It's kind of a fabulous look. I mean, we're seeing it on the front of this building where, the property abuts Orange Street. It's not in particularly good shape, but, it's old concrete, and I kind of think that has become part of the vocabulary of downtown, older concrete curbs and walkways like you have on, what's that really narrow street that you go down there? Off of Orange, connects Orange and Fair, it's like this wide.
Martin, maybe?
Martin's Lane.
Martin
Yeah,
Lane.
that had some of the best concrete sidewalks. They probably dated from 1940, and they were gorgeous. I think a lot of them have come up. But anyway, my back to the walls. I think I'm okay with taking this wall down and doing the tiered concrete as you're suggesting, Stephen. Thank you.
Okay, let's see, Abby?
Yeah, I'm just not sure about the concrete, and I'm not sure about all the gravel driveway. Definitely, the AC has to be screened. Had you thought of doing like a stone wall instead of just poured concrete?
We had talked about it, sure. And cost is certainly a factor. It is more expensive, but also the precedent of the concrete wall, it seemed to make sense to match it. That was the thought process, at least.
And that you have a cap on it. Is that enough, more concrete, or is that?
It's
a
shown
cap
as
of
bluestone,
bluestone?
but,
Okay.
we'd certainly be open to altering the cap as desired.
Yeah, we don't do a lot of bluestone cap, so I think maybe look into another way to sort of give that a little finished look on the top. That's all I have, thanks.
Thanks, Angus.
Well, one good way to save money is not to move the wall.
Right. Yes, I agree.
But the stone has really set a precedent, and who knows what happens to that stone if it's dismantled and moved. But I prefer the idea of maintaining that look, if it's the choice of the applicant to move the wall, to replicate it. The idea about concrete, I'm trying to understand what that concept is like, if it's like a real aggregate look, like the museum on Ray's Court.
1904.
Or if but parged, your typical parged concrete wall with a stone cap is just too contemporary for this setting. So those are my thoughts. Thanks.
Thank you. Let's see, Connie?
So I'm okay with the tearing of the backyard, or the side yard, I should say. I think my major concern is the gravel, the abundance of the gravel. And if we could somehow replace the top of that concrete with something other than bluestone, I'm okay. Thank you.
So I don't have a concern with pargeted concrete. I presume it's gonna be pargeted, not just a straight, or.
We're repairing the front wall with a parging, and we're trying to make it look as close to what exists as possible.
But I mean, in terms of relocation, the new wall, that'll be a concrete, it'll be barged.
That's how we proposed,
Just
yes.
to make sure.
Yeah.
I think brick cap is gonna be better. There's some details you gotta work out, because depths and widths, but, I think that's appropriate. I think I think along that front wall, it would be helpful if there were a few locations where, for instance, a climbing euonymus were planted to help break up that, in a way that makes sense. It will be green, but it will bifurcate areas of wall, and you kind of want it to make sense. So I'm not gonna design that now, but I think that would be beneficial to have some green there, and a climbing euonymus, whatever you use, but that would be typically, and in this area, it'll be evergreen with the leaves staying on most, if not all, the season. And then the last bit I think I would comment is, or I have a question rather, that gravel, Stephen, it doesn't really look like you're getting a car back there so much. What's the rationale?
So, it was a request of the client just to make the space there sort of utilitarian. Honestly, we could create a gate, sort of a fence at the southeast corner, probably.
Will you scroll down a little? Sorry, Steve, go ahead.
Just.
No, just on that site plan.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, so there's a bulkhead there. There's a slop sink in the basement. They use it sort of, it's a utilitarian area. I think that if we wanted to screen it, we could do some sort of a fence or a gate at the southeast corner of the building. And if we did two sort of large panels and a type 2 fence so that it could be opened up to a reasonable aperture so that they could, get equipment through there or anything that they needed to do that would certainly work. And we could make an adjustment from the gravel too, if it was a sort of a shell and a pea stone mix or something more preferable. And I would disregard the comment about exploring bricking the walkway, especially given that it's a town walk there. We can leave it as is. It's sort of a broken concrete as it is right now. It looks old and nice.
Okay, but just to be sure, certain I understand, you're saying fencing and a gate, but you're still saying gravel?
If we could do gravel to the north of that fence, at the back of the structure where it's otherwise concealed by plants and all of that kind of stuff, that would be great.
And what about like a 2-track path over here, and then it's kind of like some grass space or something?
They're hopeful to maintain the parking as possible.
No, I mean, here for parking, I got it.
Yeah, to the right of the brick walkway, that was parking before, and they like to retain it.
What about cutting it back a little? I mean, here it looks like it envelops over to the trunk of the tree. You're looking for 3 spots there, 1, 2, 3, or?
I suppose if you could concede, it's probably practically 2 spots.
Okay, I mean, I guess I would just say then, for me, the concept would be to stop where you get 2 spots instead of bringing it over further. Just the way of looking at it, it appears as though it's gonna go under the tree.
Okay, sure.
And I think that creates a misperception.
Could we hope for revisions?
Yeah.
Is that your motion? I think we can do, or, no, I don't think we're doing an Exhibit A. No,
We should go for revision.
we're gonna get some revisions.
Okay.
And if you get them in by Thursday, we'll look at them next week,
Okay.
That's my motion.
just to move things along. Abby's motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks. Okay, so we're on to 4 Bittersweet.
Bye, Holly. Thank you.
Good night, Holly, thanks.
Good, Holly.
Unbelievable. Okay. George?
George, you're all set.
I'm here, thank you. And I'd like to share my screen if I may. I can just get through this quickly, I think.
You may, and you may.
Thank you. Let's see here. Okay, everybody should be able to see my screen currently. So just to set some precedent, this was submitted along with 2 Bittersweet Lane. Bittersweet's a new subdivision over near Barrett's yard. 2 was approved last new session on consent. I think they held 4. And speaking again with Holly, there were some concerns that the houses were a little bit too similar. So I'll just go through these quickly. Some pictures, some precedents in the immediate neighborhood. And site plan, again, 2 Bittersweet is here. 4 Bittersweet is right next door, and then this will actually be 6, but this is not in the mix. Floor plans. Exterior elevations. So the south elevation here is what will actually be facing Bittersweet Lane. So it's really just a simple 1-story cottage structure. Again, different, slightly different than 2 Bittersweet. We are proposing to use a different color shingles. We can go to different color trim and casings on the windows and doors. We can also take a look at maybe modifying some of the windows going to 2/1s. But it's a pretty straightforward, simple structure. This would be, rear facing, obviously, the north elevation, east and west, respectfully. So it's pretty straightforward, 1-story structure. Total height at the largest is roughly 9 foot, 1910.
Thanks,
And
George. Can you go back to the site plan, please?
I sure can. Yep.
Who'd like to go?
Me.
Ray.
Sorry. Short and sweet. I think this is completely appropriate to the neighborhood. I wish this building would be repeated many places on this island. Thank you.
Yeah.
Abby?
Truer words have never been said.
Oh, there you go. Angus. Can't do much with that,
But
Angus.
can I just add
Oh,
my
more
one
true
concern?
words. Let Abby finish the truth.
I'm a little bit worried about the siting of the pool.
We'll get to that.
So,
Yeah.
well, it's just that if we say, okay, here,
Well, never say that, 'cause
okay,
that's not true.
all right, so, and yeah, no, just with the little twisting of the couple of things,
Good to
I
go.
think it's great.
Angus?
Nothing to add.
Connie?
I'm good.
George, what's gonna go on the 3rd lot?
I have no idea. Maybe my house. I may have to
I
move.
think maybe you could sell them a design.
I think we
There you go.
Exactly. I move to approve.
Thank you. All in favor of Ray's motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carries unanimously. Moving on, folks, to the
Great.
shed. Can we,
Again-
let's take up the pool first,
Yeah.
George.
Smart.
Sure.
So smart.
Look at that.
We might
I'll just-
relocate the shed, so.
Yep,
Make it
so the pool, the part of the hardscape is 6-foot board fence, natural to weather to enclose the pool. A 4-foot section here between the shed and the house, just so that somebody comes up to the yard, they can see into the backyard, or vice versa. That's it.
A question for you, George, because I see it replicated on both these lots. Is the area behind the shed, that dotted line is a fence? There's no lot delineation there? That's a surface feature, not a property owner feature?
Nope, that's, you talking about this section here, Steve?
No, below or to your right. Yeah, the red line. There
That
you go.
red line is a proposed 6-foot natural to weather board fence.
Okay, I just wanted to verify it at the
Yep.
smaller scale. I couldn't discern.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Is there anyone who doesn't want to have that shed moved, turned and moved in front of the pool?
That's
just
what
trying
I
to
was
cut
gonna
to the
suggest.
chase.
That's a great idea.
And some vegetation added
Yeah.
to the fence?
So we could do it in Exhibit A. So George, what we're discussing is having that shed rotated and moved, and replace a portion of the fence. And
Okay.
then maybe put some vegetation in. Are you, that's what we're discussing. You're gonna say, oh, that's a great idea, and then we can move this on.
I don't think there'd be a problem with that. So just to be clear, we'd rotate the shed clockwise or counterclockwise and locate it perpendicular along this fence line, eliminate some of the fence and block some of the pool.
Yeah, or it could be forward of the fence, and then that way you're not impinging
Yep.
upon the area within the fenced area that the shed was also making a barrier, but, okay.
We can,
So
we can do that as an Exhibit A, not a problem.
is that your motion, George?
I didn't realize they had a vote, but if I hang around long enough,
Yeah.
I might, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
We'll do, okay, so Exhibit A.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
George, how, I'm not finding it right here, but how tall did you say? Oh, 4 foot. The fence is 4 feet? I thought somebody said 6 feet.
Well, nope, yeah, so the surrounding fence here is 6 feet. And then we were proposing a small 4-foot section here between the house and the garage, shed. So that, sometimes if you walk up, you want to be able to see who's in the backyard. It's accessible from that. So just this section was 4 feet, the rest of it's 6.
Okay, so basically that could rotate and figure out a fence and whatnot. Okay, so the Exhibit A I'll do, it'll be a bubble that shows the general area to rotate and infill the shed. And then it will be bordered by 4 and 6 foot fence.
With vegetation.
With vegetation. Is that, and not visible time of inspection or thereafter, no change to grade from that existing at time of application?
Correct.
Can I second that?
Go ahead, please, Jim.
I'm just seeing the alignment of the secondary structure, which would normally be set back from the face, and then a 6-foot fence, which we normally have set back from the face as well. This isn't your typical face, but, and it is set back a distance from the yard, but are we talking, I just wanted to clarify the turning, would we do it more like this so that it would feel like the fence was set back to do the shed turning 90 degrees and going like that? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, so what I was suggesting is that we could rotate it, and it could actually come out here a little bit. It would be forward, but given the distance from the street and the this isn't a 4-bay federal. And I note that there is just to say it, as you dump out of New Lane onto Westchester, there's a shed right in front of I think it's like a bastardized fruit revival, so it's just very strange. So I'm comfortable with that, but just to be clear, rotate this and put it somewhere in this area, and then you could work on fencing in this area.
And does that fence, I mean, any size fence is going to hide the pool. Could it be 4 feet like the side? Does that part need to be?
That's what I was wondering.
Could that be 4 feet in the front and then 6 feet along the side?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, where the authority having jurisdiction?
Well, if you want to add that to your motion,
I'm
I'd be
happy to have you
thumbs
bring
up.
this Exhibit A up, and is that your motion?
I think it's your motion.
So are we voting on the
Voting on visual mitigation for the
The pool.
pool by approving the shed before we took it up.
Okay.
And then we're gonna take
And then
up the
we're gonna go-
pool, because it's gonna be simpler to say, not visible time inspection or
Is-
thereafter.
I was just looking at the shed, just to see what it would look like from, turn 90 degrees. I'm not sure there are any windows or doors on that
We
side.
can address that.
Yeah.
We'll get to the shed.
Go ahead.
Right now,
Okay.
we're
Yeah, right
reviewing the
now.
All right,
landscape.
fine.
So then we can deal with the fenestration.
Fine.
Okay, so on,
Through you, Mr. Chair, I just want to clarify, we're still talking about a 6-foot fence on the property line, correct?
Yes.
And along the
yes,
back, okay.
yeah.
Yep,
So 4 foot just to bifurcate the visual,
yep.
the lot, front to back. Yeah, I'll do Exhibit A. And we are now gonna move on to the shed. Do we have a stamp here? Oh, it's already stamped, thank you.
Mr. Chair, you had made a motion, I had seconded, but added the other bits about the 4 feet facing
I'll
the
write
front.
that in Exhibit A.
But-
and
but
we'll
we-
vote on it.
And we're gonna vote.
So all in favor of the amended motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, you're up again.
All right, well, this is the shed, and I believe it was that Abby? So if we turn the shed, there's no fenestration on what would be facing the street. So, we'd probably want a door into the shed from the pool area potentially, but I think we're gonna need to do something, whether it's, square awning style windows. I don't think we need to go too crazy, but I do think it needs to be addressed, right?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, if I could go.
Abby?
I would suggest whatever the windows are on the house, if they're 6/6s, for instance, maybe we could have 2 windows on that east side.
Yep,
If
we
that's
could
what
do
it
that,
is.
and they're 2/2s, but I don't think there'd be any problem with that. We would just equally space them here. And of course, the fence will disappear in these 2 views, of course.
Okay, anything else, Abby?
No, that's good.
Okay, anyone else?
Me.
Right?
Question for George. Are the big overhead doors on the north and south side, which the orientation will obviously change, are they staying?
Well, we'd prefer to have at least one set. I got to take a look at
Well,
the
I'm
new
just asking the
orientation.
question. I'm not sure there's an objection, but
We'd like to keep them, but rotating it may make one of them, one side or the other, not reasonable, right?
okay. That's it.
Okay, Connie?
No, I'm good with the windows addition.
Yeah, I'm good too. So can someone make a motion, please?
Can I make a comment first?
Yes.
So, maybe I'm the only person who's feeling this, but this feels rather vertical here. And I'd rather see the corner boards, the rake boards come down close to the head casing. I think this is mitigated a bit by rotating so that you're seeing the eave, but to get this eave closer to the head of the door, or I guess it would be a window in this case, I think would be more appropriate.
Question for Angus, through the chair. I like that. Are you suggesting going from an 8 to like a 9 or a 10 and 12 on the roof pitch?
Just to bring the eave down.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
I mean, rather than pull the whole ridge down, change the pitch of the roof?
What is it now, 8?
8.
What's the main, George, what's the main roof pitch?
The main house has 8/12s.
Pardon me?
The main house has an 8/12 pitch on the majority of the roofs. So I think we can.
Hold on,
Sorry.
George. We
Yep.
want to kind of get through this one. It's a shed.
Sure.
Anything else, Angus?
No.
Any other comments? Okay, so I think, given the height of the main house is 19 feet, the shed 13, drop that, a foot, I'm good with dropping the top plate a foot.
Me too.
George, you want to accommodate us?
That's not a problem. Yeah, I just want to make sure the overhead door has enough room to operate, but a foot we should be able to do.
Okay, sounds good. So, Ray, will you make that your Exhibit A motion?
Sure.
That's
my
it?
motion.
To drop the top plate a foot and
Add some windows.
add some windows. Exhibit A, on Ray's motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, and C, Exhibit. Sorry, I'm writing one up. Okay. We
Thank
are
you,
now
everybody.
moving on to,
Have a great Memorial Day.
you're done, George, thank you.
Thank you.
31 India Street.
I don't see anybody in the queue, but I know that this was an issue from the health department.
Oh.
He had to fix the front door the interior.
Trouble. Okay, so we will give him 15 minutes, see what happens. That was just a 19
Christina's here, but
Lily.
nobody else is.
So we have no one else in the queue?
There are people in the queue, yes.
Oh, okay.
There are, okay.
But not for 31 India.
19 Lily,
19 Lily is not in the queue.
okay. 6 Fargo.
Yes, 1 minute.
Hard to imagine Chip isn't
No,
here.
it's Amy.
Amy. Hard to imagine Amy isn't here.
I'm promoting her to panelist right now.
That is the pool. Are we getting the shed one? Can we? Got it.
Finito.
Amy, I'm
Pool,
promoting you to
I believe I
panelist.
just modified, unless I modified a different application. You don't expect me to actually look at them before I write on them, do you? Teasing, of course. I'm sorry, Kathy, what were you saying?
No, Amy, you can talk now if you'd like to.
And then this is the shed for you. Do we have the drawings for the shed for Ray to mark up for Exhibit A?
Oh, yeah, that app was light.
Okay. Amy?
She declined to be a panelist, but she's probably going to speak, and I asked her to unmute, and she hasn't unmuted
Please
yet.
panelize yourself.
Well, she can talk as an attendee as well,
Okay.
but she's not unmuting for some reason.
Amy, we can't hear you. You're still muted. Nod twice if you can hear us. Can we even see them?
No.
Okay, we might have to come back to her.
Okay.
If she's having technical difficulties, we will go on to 12 New Street.
I don't know if the people in the queue are waiting for 12 New Street or not. You might want to.
If you are here to speak on 12 New Street as the applicant's agent, please make yourself known via the little raise your hand or. Sing a song.
Here's the pool. Sorry. Here's the pool.
Oh, wait a minute, I thought I just did the pool. Well, what did I do? Oh, I'm just gonna have you transfer that over. I thought that was the pool. Can I have that back?
Yes.
I marked up the drawings. Okay, get to that next.
Where is this?
Mr. Chair, there's nobody in the queue for, it's the same person for 12 New Street or 60 Nobodere Ave.
What's up with
I
our
don't
applicants?
know.
They're like trying to make our summer longer.
They're voting.
54 Washington Street,
Val
Lift
is here.
Building.
Oh, actually, Amy raised her hand. Stand by.
Okay, Amy, let's
I'm here.
roll.
There she goes.
Which one is this?
6 Fargo Way, New Gate.
Fargo.
Hey, how are you guys?
We're gonna be better when you pick this one up and run with it.
Can I go ahead and share my screen?
Yes, please.
All right, I'm not sure why the camera is not turning on.
You have to be promoted as panelist, Amy, in order to share your screen, so let me just,
Amy,
Yeah.
just, when you see that, accept it.
Yeah. So I just sent it over to you. There we go.
She shows us all these great ones and then she does that.
You should be all set, Amy.
Amy?
Video. Hey, okay.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so this application is for a driveway gate for 6 Fargo Way. The driveway is existing as well as the house, and we're just proposing to add a gate to one driveway entrance. You can see that clouded in red here. And it will be set back along the setback line, so 35 feet back from the street. And you can kind of see that here in this image.
And these are some other examples from nearby gates. And then here's the gate that we're proposing. We'd like to do white to match the existing trim on the house. I think it's pretty straightforward from there.
Okay, thank you. Regular board, who would like to go?
I can start.
Abby?
Well, the trim might be white on the house, but this is seen from a public way in a very rural atmosphere. So I would stick to natural to weather and simplify the design. I think the arch top is a little arch, actually. And I would go back to one of your simpler examples.
Yes, that's what I thought.
Even the one on Pocomo looks a little more in keeping with the surrounding area. So I would choose one of those simpler designs. Thank you.
Okay. Angus?
I would just echo natural weather and simplifying.
Okay, can we give them can we tell them which one and then we can just move this thing along? It seems like we're headed in that direction. They've given us some simple ones.
Well, for the setting, one of the two simplest ones in the middle and the bottom, without all the balusters or all the vertical pieces.
So the horizontal slats?
Yeah.
I'm not looking at it, so I'm guessing.
You got it.
Yeah, you've got it. You know, it looks like all the other.
Okay, so Ray, Val,
Same.
any concerns with switching over to which one? I actually don't even mind the mid-island one if it was natural.
It looks
so-
like it's the same as that one.
Far left.
Well, that has much wider vertical elements than that one. That's like wicked tight. If that was natural to weather, I wouldn't have a concern with it. Does anyone have a concern with Pocomo Road? Medallion Creek, Mid-Island, natural to weather?
No.
Okay, so Amy, you can do one of those three, Pocomo Road, Medallion Creek, or Mid-Island, the Mid-Island and natural to weather. Or you guys can come back and we can debate this for like a year. Which do you want to do?
Okay. Our preference would be Pocomo Road, natural to weather, the first one here.
Oh,
If that
sorry.
works for everyone else.
Sorry, Amy.
That was the only one not included.
That's the wrong Pocomo Road.
Oh, this Pocomo Road.
Yeah, which is why I gave you the Mid-Island option in natural to weather.
Okay, so yeah, Mid-Island, natural to weather. That sounds great.
Okay.
We've got a winner.
Val, is that your motion?
Sure.
Sure. Okay, on Val's motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries.
Great, thank you.
Okay, we're going to take a brief break. What was the modification to, this is where I was confused with, or bittersweet. What was the modification to the main house? I thought that was just a straight through.
Which, say it again?
The house?
The house I thought was just
Yeah,
a
the
through.
house
It was
went
straight,
through.
Okay,
nothing.
it said Exhibit A on it, so I thought it was the
Nope.
pool thing. Okay, so there were no conditions, there were no restrictions, there's no Exhibit A.
No, just the shed.
Shed has been changed.
Okay, and then I'm just gonna switch the drawings, right? They were just all the same or no? Probably not. Here, I know how to fix that.
Yeah.
Throw that man a stapler.
Okay, that goes with that, that goes with that. Bear with us, folks. I'm just making the sausage here.
Who's making a note about the gate?
I thank you for volunteering.
It was Mid-Island.
It was the Mid-Island
The
natural.
Mid-Island natural to weather. 12 Natoa, no, 12 New Street. I guess we're back to that. No
Yeah,
one?
there's the same people in the queue as before.
60 Nobody Ave,
There's nobody to hear.
54 Washington Street.
Val Oliver.
Oh.
Okay. Unlike Val Oliver for the applicant, unlike a lot of folks in this area, we've been reviewing lifting houses.
Nobody's here.
We are asking to only lift this house 5 feet, 3 inches to the first floor instead of the 11 in the VE zone, and we are going to appeal that height situation.
I'm sorry, could you clarify that, Val?
We're gonna get a historic determination and keep it as low as we can.
Thank you.
So we're just asking to go up 5'3" instead of 11 feet.
Is that what the request is being made?
That's what they want, that
No.
zone wants you to
No,
have.
But Val, what I'm asking, I don't have this open, but are you saying that you got approval to have it lifted 11 and now you're gonna?
No, we don't want to go the 11, but we do
I
want to
know you
lift.
don't.
I think what she's saying is that the format, FEMA in the design flood elevation is 11.3,
Understood.
but they don't want to do that. So they're
Also
gonna ask for
understood.
Historic determination to allow it to be less.
That's what we're reviewing?
Yes,
Oh,
so I would think you'd be happy.
I would think so. I mean, that seems like a
I'm
no-brainer.
just shocked with an 11'3". That's new. Like, I've never come across that. What zone is that? Is it a
V-
velocity zone?
Between
It's
Orange
velocity, yeah.
and Pleasant Street?
It's a
Why are we
twilight
talking about FEMA?
Yeah, is this,
Washington Street.
is this the Al Gore map, or is this the one from FEMA?
VE 11 plus 3 feet
Well,
to the lowest member.
Let's trust Val.
Yeah.
I gave Holly the elevation certificate.
I mean,
So,
Can I go first?
yes.
Okay. Oops.
So where else?
Abby Camp. I approve this.
Kind of dropping this. Actually, you know what? Let me back up.
Okay, sorry.
I'm
I take
sorry.
everything back.
I'm just a little scared. Mickey, do you guys have anything on this?
No concerns.
Okay. Abby,
I'm okay with submitted.
okay. Does anyone have a concern with this?
No.
Ray?
so we're granting you a historic determination that you can
I
come
have
and-
to apply for that.
That's a separate
Okay, but,
application.
all right, so I'm fine, yes. Well, I move to approve as submitted.
And I just want to be clear, this is going to be, the bottom of the floor joist is going to be 5'3" or something? 5
Yes.
foot?
Looks like
No, to the
to the top of the floor joist.
top of the subfloor.
Even better.
Top of the first floor, even better. I'm on board.
And the height is 21
Connie?
feet.
Okay.
With the lift.
So Ray's motion is to approve as submitted. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, Ray is gonna take over. I am heading out for the evening. Kathy, I will get on and zoom in so I can mull in on these.
All right.
Can you sign that?
Well, I'm not sure how many more we have.
Just a
Can you
couple.
sign this?
Yeah.
We have 6
Is it
more,
mine?
right?
It's the,
Right.
no, I think it's
Yeah,
at the gate,
We
yeah.
have 6 more.
And then give it to him
6.
before he goes.
That's it.
Okay, 6 more.
Thank you, everyone. I appreciate that.
Bye, Stephen, feel better.
Yeah.
Okay, so I do think that it's to Christina, right?
Christina Jelemy
At
and
9, Kelly?
Karen Alance is on Zoom.
Yeah, figured.
Okay.
Christina, do you want Karen to do the talking, or do you want to?
Karen will present and I will respond to any questions you have.
Okay, sounds good, thank you. Let's see, so Stephen's leaving, so you got basically people you're looking at right now, Christina, okay? Bye, Stephen. Okay, Karen, why don't you start?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yop,
Barely.
Oh,
yeah,
geez.
barely,
Oh, God. Okay. How about now? If I talk loud?
same.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'll do the best I can with that.
Yep.
Let me see if I can up my volume on the mic. All right, is that any better?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
Just continue.
All right. So the application is obviously for Christina Jellamy's house on Kelly Road. And the system is on the front of the house because the front of the house faces south. And it's visible from Kelly Road, but no other public ways. So Kelly Road's dead end, and she has 3 neighbors that would be passing by, and no one else goes by down that road. The backyard looks like it has room for a ground mount. However, there is no available ground cover there because there's a wetlands restriction and a drainage easement. So she's got no space for anything but the roof. Very close to Christina's house on Popus Road are at least 6 visible solar arrays that are passed by hundreds of people every day. The Slozaks, Moorzen Farm, Paul Bennett, Rachel Freeman. And you can see all those. And so we are hoping that, given the neighborhood visibility of other solar, that you will allow Christina to have these panels, because that's the only thing she can do. She can't put a ground mount down. And so that's all I can say.
All right, so it's obviously on the front face of the building,
Right.
facing Kelly.
Yes.
And it looks like it's a gray roof.
I was just gonna ask that.
Yeah. All right, well, so jump on in, folks.
Well, I'll go.
Yeah.
So I appreciate it's a not a very traveled way. The examples you gave us are not the front of buildings. So yes, we can see them. Our biggest concern has always been the front of a building. So this is the front of the building, and it's not even black roof shingles. So that is my struggle. Unless there is some way to perhaps plant something to screen it. You know how sometimes we have people plant trees
Yeah.
to mitigate it?
Mhm.
It might be okay. Or change the roof shingle color.
Okay. Is that it? Val?
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Who's next?
I can go if you want.
Abby?
I think what's making me pause about okaying this is the just the the lack of it just seems so jumbled and abstract, and I think it's taking away from the house. There's the roof plane on the back of the house is more contiguous and could have a much neater, impactful design, I think, than the way it's been distributed on the front of the house. These different planes, I think it's going to be very distracting for this house. So I would try to think of another way, another place for these panels. Thank you.
Okay, Abby, thank you. Who's next? Sorry for the yawn.
I'll go.
Angus.
No, go ahead.
Oh, you too.
We'll figure out, we'll end this wing over here. So the guidelines that were set forth for solar are pretty clear about not doing it on the front and doing it on black. That's an interesting idea about the planting to screen it on the front, but the driveway, you look through the driveway and then there are 2 of the main roofs or 3 of the main roofs with solar on them. The interesting idea is the backside, but that's the north side. It is facing a little bit west, I think, but I don't know if that would have to get not following the roof plane, but get propped up in such a way to get the benefit of it. It's a good point made by the applicant that this is like the last house or almost the last house on the road. So it's not like there's a lot of traffic going by. So anyway, that's what I have. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Connie?
So I was just going to echo what Angus said. You know, our criteria states a black roof and not on the front of the property. And unfortunately, this seems like it's both. So I do have issues with this application. Thank you.
Okay, Connie?
Can I respond to a couple things?
You can, sure.
For the screening, right now, there's 2 large trees. This was taken, that do flourish out and really do hide for the majority of the season, the summer season and the fall season, where you cannot see the roof. The jagged edges, unfortunately, it's a hip roof ranch, so we're trying to retrofit old style into new technology. The backside is my understanding from Karen that is while it can get some light, it's not financially feasible to go ahead and do these solar panels on the backside. And then I guess maybe the only other alternative is decreasing the amount of solar panels, if that would open the appetite for it at all. Unfortunately, the roof is, 10 years, 8 to 10 years old, so replacing it is not financially, wouldn't make sense to replace the roof just to get the solar panels. If that front hip roof was removed, maybe that would be amenable. But unfortunately, I think, and Karen can speak more to this, but I think the garage is the largest area and that is the most visible and cannot be screened. So I'll turn it to Karen if she has any comments.
Well, I do have a comment
Well, hang on.
based on that.
Okay, Val, Karen, I'll get back to you. Val?
For me, putting it on the garage and not the main part of the house would be okay. Because it's not the house.
Oh, yeah.
You got what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I could make that exception for that. That's all I wanted to say.
Okay. Val, thank you for the positive contribution. Karen, did you have anything else you wanted to say?
Well, if you hold the screen right there with the overhead view, what about having them on the garage and then the roof plane that's just to the right, we could pull that one panel off on the far right, upper right, to make that a nice rectangle, because I know that's what you like. And we could also make on the roof that's facing southwest as opposed to the more south, we could, make a rectangle, maybe just less of them. I could take and then we could take actually some of them, the triangle roof that faces the road on the far right of the photo, we could take all of them off there, if that would help.
Can I just,
I understood, excuse me, Karen, I understood all of that except for the southwest.
I think she
So
means-
just consolidate this into a rectangle.
Yeah.
No, that's
That's
north,
southeast, yeah, that's east.
or southeast, sorry.
So
Is
take
it,
this off
taking that off,
Yep,
and these?
well, it sounded like they were gonna reconfigure those.
yes, that.
That.
And
but
that
make the
one,
other-
yeah.
That
Make
one.
into a rectangle.
And
So
can
add to
you
that
give us
one.
some you might know, Christina, what are we talking about on this in between, the one facing,
That right there, that's the least visible. You really can't see that from any direction because coming, the road, there's only 2 neighbors at the bottom past that. So coming back, you really can't see that part of it. That's the most hidden part of the roof line.
okay, which I would agree with. So, folks, it sounds like, although we generally try not to do this during a meeting, it sounds like we might be into a little bit of horse trading here. Did anyone hear anything in that it appealed to them? No?
Well, definitely. Definitely taking it off the front of the house. I struggle with this because I know you get the optimal south and west, but you
Yeah.
mean you get nothing north and east?
You would get
Or at least
half-
north?
It's not that you don't get anything, but you don't get like, it has
You
to.
don't get
hit
free
a-
electricity.
Whoa.
You would get half as much, and then
Yeah.
it doesn't, the investment doesn't make the financial sense. The payback is
Yeah,
so
like-
long. And
I thought
in this case, it's
subsidized.
actually one half of what she would make. For every 100 kilowatt hours she'd make on the front, she'd make 50 on the back, and it doesn't work.
Okay. So, listen, I appreciate the concessions that you were willing to make, but I think what we should probably hold this for revisions. Sounds like that's going to be on the table, and come back. Some points have been made by various members, one of which is like that the garage is, perceived as separate from the house, which I would agree with. Christina made the point that that other sort of inward-facing roof is going to be the least visible roof, et cetera. So.
I'll make that motion.
Yeah, so we're going to hold for revisions and see how we can, tidy this up. And I will say, I'm also going to say this, this is kind of like the perfect storm of stuff, like the gray roof is not working, the fact that, the orientation of the building is such that all the panels want to go on the front of the building, the fact that you've got a hipped roof, which creates this funny zigzag patterns with the rectangles. All of those things are kind of like conspiring, so it's a difficult problem, but let's see if we can work something out. So I believe Abby made a motion to hold for revisions, did you?
I did.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Thanks,
thank you.
Christine. Thank you, Karen. Okay, so, let's see, what's next now?
Who's in? Val Oliver.
For what?
Oh, Val Oliver, okay.
On an existing garage,
Touchy?
which I think,
No, I just struggled with those.
I know, well, it's,
We make a concession.
I know.
Right, that's why. It's like, nope.
Okay. This is a little garage on Derry Moor. They are already over ground cover, grandfathered. So they need a little bit of an office, and we're suggesting putting it over the existing little garage that's there.
Okay, is that it,
Trying to
Val?
keep it simple. Yeah.
Okay. Board members, you're all sitting at the table.
20 foot 2 inches in height.
gosh, the existing garage is so damn cute. I wish it weren't so cute.
I would say, look at the photos, maybe I should have given you bigger ones, just for context. The big house is on, what's that street behind?
Davy Jones or something? Joan?
No.
No.
Phil Manella's, Gingy.
Gingy Lane.
Oh.
You can see if you're looking at the house, what we back up to, and there's a house right next to us on the left of the building. I also gave you some photos of looking from Gingy toward this house. It's not right on the street, it's set back from the house, so I just want to have you keep that in mind.
Could I continue, Mr. Chair?
Yeah, of course you can.
Or is it, do we hear from anybody, Mickey or anybody?
We don't on this, no.
It's outside the.
Okay, so I think the height of this building is competing with the main building. Like right now, everything's in scale, and it's like a perfect little scale.
On the flat, yeah. it
So the only, I think to bring it back, I just lost my picture now. To bring it back to a scale of what's on the site now, I would bring it down a couple of feet and try to keep that charm. It's almost a broke back now. Maybe you work that into it again, and that's what I got. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Who's next?
I'll go.
Angus.
To me, this is like time and a half too tall for an addition. I don't think 2 feet's going to fix it. It's almost begging for going down instead of up. But I'm not sure how that happens exactly. But yeah, to me, it's I think it helps mitigate it because it's not right on the road; it's set back. But it's definitely, I mean, without any doubt, it's changing the character of the structure. But I think Abby, you're right about it sort of competing with the height of the house and the gables not helping the gable forward. That's what I have, thanks.
Okay, Angus, thank you. Connie?
Val, is the original garage, it says 1966, I think. Yeah. Yeah, I do like the original garage. I think it's just a little too vertical. I'm not sure how you'd mitigate that, but if it can come down, I think that would help. Because I do agree, I think it competes with the height of the existing house structure. Thank you.
Thanks, Connie. I think that one possible solution here to sort of decreasing the perceived, volume of this, the mass of this building, would be to increase the roof pitch. Like if you kept the ridge where it is, which is below the main house. Now, I think we have to accept the fact that the main house is a single-story building, so Val has a problem, in trying to keep this subordinate. And now I think one perceptual way that she could do that, keep the ridge where it is, increase the roof pitch, that would bring down the eave. But then the volume would more or less stay the same because you're only losing the volume in the four corners where you don't have your dormers, because the dormers would remain the same. So I would say that, in terms of the least painful way to get this to be a possibility would be if that's, let's say, an 8 and 12, change it to say 10 and 12. And then it will just feel smaller. And, we're not really looking at the dormers, we're looking at the front of it. So we don't really care what's happening with that back there in terms of its volume. The west looks big, but nobody's going to see that. So that's what I have to say. So should we hold this for some revisions, folks?
Yeah, I'd like to see it.
Yeah. Well, she's got
Well, I
to
can't imagine
kick it around.
Not an Exhibit A.
Okay, so I'll make that motion.
All right, thank you, Abby. Abby's made a motion to hold for revisions. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. I'm in favor too. Okay, who's next?
Uri, and he's here.
Okay, so now we're on to.
I'm here. Hello.
Hi. 85 Vestal.
This one, I actually was going to ask if we could view this, but see what you guys think.
Okay.
It's a big grade change.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
So it is. Holy
that's-
crap. Hoo-wah.
It's a
Well, in the
it's a
same-
big grade change.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, look, let's start into it, Uri, but the net result
Okay.
might be a view, but so why don't you go?
Okay, so yeah, as Val said, there is a big grade change. It's a new building, new main house, which I try to push it as far back as possible from the road, but because of the grade, I kept it. It's like 39 feet from the road, minus the porch, and it's four bay the front porch, and then it's kind of stepping down towards the back, and of course the the middle part where I want to have the pool, it needs to be leveled more or less. The right side, the east side is just keeping it kind of sloped as much as possible is the natural grade, and then the north side is more open to like exposed basement, the foundation walls, and like one-story structure. If you scroll down on the elevations, you'll see the one that's visible from the street is the first one, the south elevation. It's a simple 4-bay, and the other one, north elevation, is you can see the the big grade change where it's dropping. So I guess that's kind of all for now.
Okay,
And you want to know the colors which are in the application are the Nantucket gray, cream, and black sash, and was natural.
that Nantucket gray with black sash is so popular right now. It's really trending. Yeah. Okay, who wants to begin?
Are we actually going to say something about this?
Well, listen, I think there's definitely an issue here with respect to the grade and what's going to be visible from Duke's Road. We've been down this road before.
No, but there's one fairly close to this, remember,
Oh,
that
that's what I mean.
took a lot of scrutiny.
Oh, my gosh,
Oh, yeah, it was in the paper.
Absolutely.
What I do appreciate, Uri, thank you, is the way that you did the elevations together, so it's what we'd be
Yeah.
looking at
Yeah.
from the north. That was a good idea.
Yeah, and there is also a little 3D.
Yeah, it gives us a better picture of what's going on. I personally would like to view, but what do you
Well,
guys?
let's just see what everybody else, I
Okay.
mean, how does everybody feel about this?
Oh, you don't want to know how I feel
You
about
don't want to know.
I-
I am actually got no skin in the game, so, but your eye might not want to know, right?
I'll go if I
Yeah, please,
may.
here
I just
we go.
I don't understand, given the terrain, why someone would design 3 buildings, so counting the shed and a swimming pool, a large house on a terrain has a big drop down the hill. Why would you start with a house this large? I don't understand the concept. So I'm looking to really bring this back to a smaller scale.
Okay.
But of you might change your mind because you'll see what's the context there.
Perhaps. But so Abby's opined. Let's see, Connie.
I can go?
Yeah, Connie, go.
Yeah, I would be in favor of a view. When I look at this 3D with all the buildings and the pool, to me, it just looks too dense. There's too much going on. And it just looks like there's too many buildings on this property. And I would definitely be in favor of going to take a look at it.
Okay, Connie, thank you. Angus.
I agree about the crowding of program on the lot and sort of the need to respond to the terrain a little bit more. I'm trying to figure out a total number here, but just for the lower back extension, which only goes to the head casing of the front part of the house, is 30 feet. And that's, I don't know, it might be another 8 feet from there, going up to the ridge. So, yeah, my concern is the overall impact and what this would look like from Duke's Road. Yeah, I think a site visit is in order, and maybe height poles of like the ridges, the peaks. on the back and the two front sides of the, the left and right sides of the front building.
It's going to be a tall height pole in the back. Very,
It's
very
30
tall
feet.
height pole.
Yeah, it's a 30-foot pole, just for the
30 feet,
back
yeah.
gable, but then the two front ones are 27 or whatever, so.
Okay, so hold that thought about the height poles. So this is interesting because that development, folks, you got to remind me the name of that development over by the Catholic cemetery, where there was a tremendous amount of grade change and
It was on Wynn Street.
what?
Is that Wynn Street?
No,
What?
that development.
On when?
No, you're driving towards the Catholic cemetery and it's off like,
Red Barn.
yeah, like red, it's something Red Barn, Old Farm. Okay, so the way that they chopped up those lots was they made narrow lots that all went down the hill.
Right.
And we had 6, 8 houses that all had the same problem. The problem was that they could only orient the house in one direction, which was trailing down the hill. The same thing happened out in Quidnet on that old milk route. Same thing, long lots going down the hill. And here we have a long lot, or we have a lot that's much wider, and the opportunity is there to be able to build like the house up at the high point and then terrace down to the lower point for, the guest house and the pool and whatever, rather than have it moving opposite the contour lines or perpendicular to the contour lines, which is exacerbating the problem of its height. So I just say that in terms of the overall layout. But it sounds like we want, at a minimum, a site viewing with some height poles for the main ridge and for that back gable that faces down to Duke's Road. Anything, well, and obviously consider what the board members have said, your eye, and, incorporate that into your thinking in case you want to submit any type of revisions that might help us along. Abby has another comment.
I just want to make sure I'm listening to you correctly. You're saying, instead of going down the hill, why not make it horizontal,
Yeah.
left to right?
Yeah.
And so taking that concept further, I'm just giving an idea here, that if you did what Ray said, and then you went further down the hill with something else, why does everything have to be cut off the top and flattened out and then dealt with? It's just that you're changing the whole natural landscape. Why not work with it? That's what I wanted to say.
Yeah, okay.
Try to work with it, landscape.
Right.
Well, so
Okay.
we have to give them more than that. Are we just going to do a view and then come back and review? Or,
Well, I think we're all having concerns with the massing.
yeah,
Like, that's pretty safe, right? We're all having concerns with the massing, its height, particularly as seen down from Duke's Road. And there are other ways to do this that would be more sensitive to the landscape. So that,
Can I ask,
yeah.
is the view going to change anything regarding your thoughts about massing? Like, would this be?
Yeah, I appreciate your asking that question because my guess is we're going to view it and come back here the next time this is heard with the same issues. Only now we would have viewed it and it would be more concrete. So I really would advise you to consider doing some revisions to the overall setup of this piece of property.
Yeah.
That would address the topo change that is sort of being dealt with in a difficult way. Anyway, so can I have a motion of some kind?
Yeah, well, what's that gonna be, our motion?
Motion, well, or revision, I think it was a good question. I think, I mean, I would basically be doing the viewing to confirm that, yes, this is going to not work from Duke's Road, but that's not going to give you, a lot
Right.
next meeting. And I
Right.
think the suggestion of a reciting or restructuring of the program makes a lot of sense. So the question is, do you want to get a head start with that with revisions or
That's up to him.
the,
Yeah, I'm thinking it might be easier, it might be quicker to rotate the building and go with grading, natural grading possibility. Right?
Uri, I'm sorry, I did not hear that.
So
I would make a motion to
I'm
hold for
saying that
revisions
it
because
probably would be better to do revisions and change, like to rotate the building and do the revisions to the lot.
Yeah, I didn't understand that, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But
Mr.
listen,
Chair.
Angus
Or
has
the
made a
view
motion.
and
Oh,
everything else.
He said to make revisions and change the orientation, right?
Yeah,
You're right?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. The speakers
okay,
are back
well,
there.
that would be
Yeah.
nice. All right, now there is a motion on the table to hold for revisions. And for those of you who want to view, obviously, you're free to do so. Val?
I'm just thinking, going to view is gonna give me more perspective on what's next to this. I know we did a compound very close to this. And I wanna see how that, do you know what I mean? Like,
So are you suggesting that?
contextually, it may not be as different as we think from what's already there.
Okay, all right.
I'm not saying that's good or bad.
All right. Well, this is a question that we can't answer at this table. So Uri, listen, you've heard sort of all the different views. Val has taken the position that, maybe a viewing would allow her to visualize this particular design in its context and that it would be okay the way it is. Right? I mean, is that?
With changes.
Yeah,
but I
with
have-
changes,
Can
but,
I-
so we're gonna
Can I
have to leave
also-
that one up to you. So you're
I
the one who
also
has to
suggest-
roll the dice on that one.
Can I maybe suggest to do like a 3D view from Duke's Road with the buildings?
You can, but,
rotate.
I mean, in my architecture office, we do 3D views and they always look good.
Nice
I'm
rendering.
sorry.
the idea.
They
No,
always
but do we
manage to
want
look
it to
good.
put poles or no poles? I mean, that's a big deal.
Well, I was thinking I'd like a pole on the Duke side where, on the left-hand, that
That
very
big
tall
towering
gable.
piece.
Yeah, I would like to see how tall that's going to be.
Okay.
Okay, is that fair?
but it's the backdrop of the front of the house beyond that is going to give you more of an idea of the scale of it. I don't know.
So 2 on the main ridge,
Yeah.
on Vestal, and 1 on the,
Far one closest to Diggs.
You got that, Uri?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so 3 height poles. It's up to you, check your Ouija board tonight and see whether it tells you to make revisions or not. And then we'll come back and take it up. Now, I'm also going to request of Angus that we have part of our motion be to have everything else tracked, because obviously there might be some reciting of everything. So
I was going to add that, yeah.
okay, so just to review, Angus's modified motion is hold for some potential revisions, 3 height poles, main gable plus the gable facing Duke's Road, and all of your other applications to track.
and let the office know when the poles are up.
And let the office know when the polls are up, absolutely, so we'll know when the polls
Yeah.
are up. Okay,
Yeah.
so on Angus's motion.
Aye.
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 Any opposed? There we go. So, thank you, Uri.
Thank you.
Now, so was that it?
That is,
Height poles.
Oh, and we used to call them too high.
Oh,
He had a business that he
Yes,
did.
the height poles were always sort of like listing, you know, they were blowing around in the
I
wind.
wish, I can't remember his name, but
Yeah,
it was
that was funny. Part of the legacy. Hey, so I think, are we there?
We are, but
could
can
I
you
make a-
approve minutes?
We
for
can
me
approve
if
minutes,
you-
sure.
I make a
I
motion to
didn't read
approve the
them.
minutes of March 15th, I mean, April 15th.
Thank you.
Oh, it's just that one, okay,
Yeah,
April
just that one.
15th, okay, tax day.
I'll abstain.
You know, I have to, oh, no, I have to too, because I was not there for April 15th. That was my
So you
father's
have-
memorial. No, that's the day my father died. That's the day my father died. Yeah, he breathed his last at 6 o'clock when you guys were having the meeting.
On tax day.
On tax day. And like, the last words anybody heard him say was the day before, and he said, "God damn it, tomorrow's tax day." Now, my dad probably pays like $250 in tax. But he hated to pay taxes.
Who likes it?
Yeah, really.
So I need three folks to approve the minutes.
So the motion is out, so
Or
it's
2 to 3
Connie and
anyway.
Abby both.
yeah, we're Connie,
2 to 3, rather, yeah.
myself, and
Okay,
Yeah.
so you got 3
Great,
votes?
thank you.
All right,
aye.
yeah. All those in favor?
case.
Aye.
Motion
I
to
mean,
adjourn.
I'm abstaining and you're abstaining.
Yes.
She's
Okay.
abstaining.
Motion to adjourn.
Val and Ray abstain. Oh, and that was a motion from John McLaughlin to
Adjourn.
adjourn. Thank you, John. And all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, folks, thanks a lot. Okay, 8:10. That was nice. It's nice when people don't show up.